What's going on, folks? Will Stewart here. Will Stewart 365. We are live. Long time no see. I wish it was under better circumstances, but unfortunately it's not. It's not. But we lost 2-0 today at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And it wasn't very entertaining, to say the least. But we did hear some great chants in the from the home fans today. Not as loud as maybe I would necessarily have liked, but it definitely was good to at least hear part of it. That's right, little late night angst to get 2023 started right. Happy New Year! Happy New Year to all of you out there in YouTube land. And, hopefully you guys had a good New Year's Eve. Hopefully you didn't have too bad of a hangover today. And yeah, it's been a while. I've been gone. I don't know if you see my face. It's got a little more color than normal. But it's been a while since I've done a show. And that's because I've been all over the place. I was in Cancun, Mexico, to be more honest, Playa del Carmen, although we did go to Cancun a few times. Also went to the Chichen Itza, and also the Rio Secretos, which is an underground cave system. But that was good fun. I'm going to be doing a video later this week on that, kind of like a review of the trip. Should you ever want to go to Cancun, pluses or minuses, what to do, what not to do, what did I learn while I was there for a week. But also, too, I visited a good friend. The week after that, my son was playing in the Disney Boys Showcase down in Orlando, Florida. And that was good, playing against MLS club teams, Cincinnati FC, Orlando City, USL team, Charlotte Independence. Lost 2 games, lost against Cincinnati and Charlotte. But it was very close. We ended up beating Orlando City 2-1. So that's where I was at all last week. So for 2 weeks, I haven't been able to stream. And then before that was the World Cup. And it was kind of intense. We didn't get a lot of streaming done during that while as well. So it's been a while, I think. When was the last time that I did a show on this channel? It's probably been a good minute. I want to say beginning of December. But we are back and doing all kinds of fun stuff that way. But yeah, it is what it is. And today, what are we gonna say? What are we gonna say about today? I guess we'll have to bring some people into the show. If you do want to come on, I did put the link into the chat. I'm getting ready to pin that link to the top. One thing I did buy when I was in Mexico for everybody is Captain America here, and we bought him at the Chichen Itza. Everybody calls me Captain America on stream, so I bought this. Got this at the Chichen Itza from one of the Mayan vendors there. $40, man, 40 US bucks. Similar things on, it's pretty big. It's probably a good foot tall, maybe a little bit taller than a foot. Looked on Amazon, some of these cost like $600-700, but He was willing to let it go for 40 bucks. That's right. I was in your neck of the woods. Cancun, we went there one night. We went to the Jolly Roger. If anybody follows me on TikTok or Instagram, you might have seen that video there. The Jolly Roger is like this pirate ship dinner cruise, and it was pretty fun. That was, to be honest with you, that was probably one of the best things that we did while we were in the Yucatan Peninsula there. It was a good time. So if you do ever go to Cancun, make sure you sign up for that. Get a lobster dinner. I had the surf and turf personally. But yeah, it was fun trip. But let's see. We got some people in the back. Let me know if you want to come on the show. Great ballistic likeness there. That's true. That's true. But who do we got in the chat today? We got Eugene. I don't know if you're at work or not. Ron Viniak. What's going on, Ron, my man? Should you bring Stell in? Well, Stella's welcome to come on if Stella's still awake, but it's a bit late. Sorry I started the stream a little bit late. I had some things that I had to take care of this evening. In between the time that I got off of Henry Wright's show over there. If you didn't catch Henry Wright's show today, make sure and go back and watch it. I thought it was a pretty good show, and I thought there were some good conversations being had. We also, did a few other, talked about a few other things as well, but let's see who else is in the chat. We got David. He says, Will Hyung, 안녕하세요, 오랜만이에요. That's true. 오랜만이에요. 안녕하세요. And then we've got LAE, and what's up, man? Levy Out, Enig Out. And is the Enig Out movement finally started? Is it? Are people warming up to the concepts? Are people being converted? So Lisa, I got one too. You're talking about the Mayan mask with the Spurs thing on top? I got one too. It's around here somewhere. I think it's upstairs. I still haven't unpacked all my suitcases because I literally got home from Mexico and the very next day drove to Orlando. So I still have a whole suitcase upstairs that hasn't been unpacked. And that is the thing that I bought one as well. I got one of those as well. The Mayan mask with the Tottenham Hotspur thing on top. So I got one too. I have pinned the link to the top of the chat. If you do want to come on and have a say, you're welcome to do so. Who else we got? We got Roy Park is in the house. Big up to Roy Park. Jazz Fusion, United Spurs of America. What's going on? We got Shayla Vera here. Big up Will. William McKenzie's in the house. Big up Will. Liam. Lisa, of course. We were talking Lisa. Philly ain't from Philly. 고구마님 안녕하십니까? 고구마님. 반갑습니다. Who is it? We got Dietrich Kane. We'll start 365. 내 엉덩이에 키스. That's not how you say it, Dietrich. He's trying to tell me to kiss his ass. But that is not. That is Google Translate. This actually almost sounds more like your butt's doing the kissing, not the face. But it's all good. 네 오랜만 보고 싶었어요. Yes, I missed you guys too. Panga. Who else we got? Shasant Basal, what's going on, Shasant? Who else we got? Wayne Bonner, big up Wayne Bonner. If Conte goes, they'll put Mason in charge for the rest of the season. That painful rebuild is going to even be more painful. Oh, and Happy New Year, everyone. Big up Graham. What's going on, man? You're up late, my friend. Or up early. One of the two. But yeah. But let's bring in the guests that are in back. So if you're ready to come on, Mr. Scott will bring you in. What's going on, Mr. Canada?
Oh, good evening. How are you doing? Long time with you being on a break, and I couldn't go on your show for a while before it. So good to be able to be back on here on the late night rants. Although not too late night for me, I guess. So
yeah, that's true. That's very true. Very, very, very true. So what were your thoughts on the game? We're going to get those here pretty quick. Because my other cameras aren't working right now. But the watch of the day for people that are curious, or the watch of the day, is I am wearing the Apple Watch Ultra on a butterfly clasp titanium band. So that's the watch of the day. But my other camera is not set up. This is what happens, dude. I get home. I started to go on Henry's show today, and like I had to, like, my entire computer and every single application that I have wanted to update. It's always fun when you haven't used, because I only use this space to stream. I don't do anything else here. Every now and again I'll do some work from here, but most of the time I do work from the comfort of my sofa.
For the game, I missed the first half an hour, which I heard was probably the best part of the game for us. From what I heard, people said the first half.
The first half in general, yeah, I think was. So
I missed the best part, because most of what I saw was pretty bad. Maybe not even bad, just boring. Nothing. Like, I don't know if we were terrible, but we sure didn't create much. We sure didn't do much. And when you don't do much, and you lose, it looks bad, right? So yeah. That's what my initial feelings are. I don't know anybody. I don't really know. Everybody's kind of been talking about what positives to take, and it might be surprising to hear me say I don't really see many positives. I don't even know who. A lot of people said Romero played well. I don't know. Maybe in comparison, it's better than he has. I'll say that. Maybe he's starting to look back, right? Because we've seen most of the season he hasn't looked like the player we saw last year. So maybe the positive could be he'd look better than he has earlier in the season. But I'm not even sure he was that great overall. So not a whole lot to take from it. That's great. Can't be surprised with some of the players we had out there. I mean, if you're starting Brian Hill, Basuma, he can be as great as he wants for Brighton, but for us, he has not been great at all. So when you have him in the midfield, Højbjerg no longer has Bentancur to do all the heavy lifting for him. He can't pass it off to Bentancur and let Bentancur make all the hard passes, make all the hard plays when he's under pressure, because Basuma's been terrible with the ball. So, and then of course the back three is going to be a nightmare with whoever you start there, because we only have one quality center back, and then Doherty's as bad as Royale, as much as people don't want to admit it. He's terrible too. So so other than that, it was pretty good.
I think Doherty, when he's bad, he's as bad as Royale, but he can sometimes be better, but not in any type of consistency that benefits us, on the whole. Right.
Fair enough. When Doherty does have a level that Emerson can never get to.
Right. He's got a fifth gear that he rarely gets into, but he does sometimes. Right. So.
Yeah. Not certainly, like you said, not consistently enough that's an option for us.
Yeah. Not consistently enough that you can rely on it. Right. Yeah. Like it's kind of like you roll the dice. Sometimes you roll a 6, and sometimes, but most of the time you don't. Right. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then for me too, Basuma, I can't even remember the last time he actually had a good game. Like if I haven't looked at his SOFA score at all since we signed him, really. So I don't even know what the last 5 or 6 matches his rating is. Has he ever had even a 7.2 level performance?
I can't think of a game where I was impressed with him.
Let's see.
I remember early on when he played in the and this is going back to preseason, which shows how far I'm going back. I kind of thought, okay, he doesn't look too bad because he was coming off COVID. But that's the level that we're talking about, right? Is going back to preseason and saying, okay, we're maybe coming off COVID.
In fact, for people that are curious, I think today was his best performance ever in a Spurs shirt. So statistically, so if that tells you anything about how Basuma's been playing, it hasn't been very good. Like you're looking at the month of August, his average rating was a 6.6. In September, it was a 6.7. October was 6.6. November, December were 6.7s. January 7.0. So that's based on his SOFA score stuff. So yeah, I mean he just hasn't clicked on at all for us, to be honest with you. And he's played more than you would think. He's actually played 16 games.
Yeah, I mean, part of the concern that I have with him is that I'm not sure. Maybe people will say that he's better in a 3 than a 2. Okay, but a lot of the things that I see him doing aren't like like if you have the ball at your feet and you just lose it, that's not because you're playing out of position, right? I mean, that's just bad skills. And I've seen way too many instances of that, individual errors, not him being out of position, not him looking for a pass and nobody making the run for him, just basic errors out of him that shouldn't matter if you're playing in a midfield 2 or a midfield 3. If you're a quality player, you can control the ball and not make stupid plays. And there's been way too many of those for me. I'll still hope, because we saw it at Brighton, right? He has talent. Like it's not Emerson where we're hoping that he can grow some talent, and he's never shown it. Basuma did show talent at Brighton, so maybe there's something there. But it's a lot. I think we're past the point where you say just hope he can fit in, right? There's something else going on. And
I hear you. But let's bring him in, the young guy himself. He had a New Year's Eve party last night, taking some pictures with the 2023. Dan THFC's in the house. Big up, Dan. How are you doing, my friend?
How's it going? I'm rocking the new camera. Thanks to your description box.
Good deal.
But today I don't know how to feel about this game. But big up to you, Will. You're back. Happy New Year's, both of you guys. Happy New Year's to everybody in the chat. And yeah, New Year, same Tottenham.
That's true. What happened to Dan? What did I do?
Don't know what happened.
Thanks for joining the show, Dan. We'll see you later.
I think I pushed a button and it shouldn't have kicked you out, but it kicked you out. That's weird. Unless I think I know what I did. Space bar.
I say anything bad about Son and I'm done.
Boom! It's like speed Dan in out.
He's installed an extra key to his keyboard. Take out Dan off the stream.
That's what it says. It says remove Dan THFC. That's what. No, but what are your thoughts on the game today, man? Key points, key takeaways, things that pissed you off, things that you thought were promising, if there was anything.
The one thing that I think was promising was Romero, and that was only in the first 45 minutes. And also, I actually thought that today we actually played better in the first 45 minutes than we did in the second. So that's one thing that's positive. But throughout the whole game, it was really disappointing, especially that second half. We were giving away the ball too easily. You know what frustrates me about this team the most? The mentality. There's no way you can go down by 1 and then allow Aston Villa to continue to attack you. Surely, if you have a backbone, if you have some type of personality, if you go 1-0 down against Aston Villa, you're going to want to go at them and try and find the goal. Every time I see us go down, we just go back in our box and defend. The other thing is, I know this isn't really about the performance, but I don't understand how fans are not putting this all on Levy. I don't know how fans are not putting this all on Levy. It's like the common denominator. If you have one guy at the club for the certain longest time, 21 years, and that's 1 League Cup, that's not acceptable. And then you swap and change the manager every now and then and think it's the manager's fault. Come on. Surely, I've been seeing a lot of Levy Out on Twitter. Apparently, it hasn't been as unified as I've seen on Twitter. But, I mean, we need to start uniting as a fan base and starting to protest. I'm going to London in a bit. When I get there, the first thing I'm doing is protesting because this board is unacceptable.
Sounds good. Yeah, I mean, for me, my thoughts on today, was the second half disappointing? Absolutely. Is our squad having a really hard time with getting any type of consistency, especially on the defensive side of things. The only thing that I think concerns me now, the trend that I'm seeing now, is that's different from last season, is we're conceding far more goals now than we did, from November onwards last year. Is that Conte's fault? I don't see how. If it was, I guess you could make an argument to say that other clubs and other club managers have figured us out and are now able to, pick apart, poke at our weaknesses more than they did, more than they were able to, I guess you could say, last season. But for me though, every time that we've lost or conceded goals, it's all been down to stupid mistakes.
Yeah.
Right? I haven't seen a team really break us down, right? And just completely pepper the goal. I can't remember a game where a team had, significant possession and significant shots on target, and then just outplayed us.
I think Arsenal, but the thing about the Arsenal game was most of the shots came after the red card, and then after that red card, they completely went off at us. After that,
and the first goal was a fluke, if you remember. Then the red card, and then the second goal.
The first goal was on us because we gave him way too much space. But
but there was a Lloris mistake in that one too, isn't there? Like the second goal. I think.
The second goal that Arsenal scored was a Lloris mistake. But I'm trying to see a game. Well, Man U, they completely dominated us.
Yeah.
But every team's going to have a game like that. Like, I was going to agree. Today, for example, if we're worried that people are figuring out Conte, they didn't figure us out when Lloris spilled that ball and Longley was standing flat-footed. Yeah. That's not them figuring out our system.
Yeah, and it wasn't
errors. When Dyer kicked it out last week for the corner kick, that's not them figuring. It's not like they, unless we're saying they figured out to give the ball to Dyer because he's a shit player. Thing, but those are individual errors that aren't caused by the system.
Yeah.
Scott, you say it as a joke, but I honestly think it's true. I think that other clubs have acknowledged that if you make Tottenham players have to make a decision, they're so bad that they're going to mess it up, and then you can take advantage of that. I think that's actually what teams are starting to find out now. Because there's been too many times where it looks like, not that they're letting him.
That's a risky system, though, because if they don't make a mistake, then you lose. Right? So it's a gamble at that point. Right? Because it's not guaranteed that they're going to make a mistake. Right? You can target a player. It's obvious that people target our right side, Emerson, and they move a lot of things down that particular side over the left-hand side, particularly when Kulusevski's not there. And to be honest with you, I think the thing that I've noticed so far this season that is different from last season is because Kulusevski's been injured quite a bit. Whoever plays in that Kulusevski role doesn't fall back and defend like Kulusevski does in that particular role. And what I mean by that is, if you ever watched us last season when we were defending really well, you had Son and Kulusevski basically on other sides of the pitch, kind of, I guess you could say double teaming whatever winger, or coming or coming more narrow and helping out the midfielders in the back line, especially if we were under big pressure. And you see Son doing that on the left, but the right-hand side doesn't seem to be there anymore without Kulu there.
Yeah.
Richarlison, for me, if you ever watched in that, he always was way middle, more central. He wasn't out wide helping out the wing
Richarlison,
back.
Yeah. When Richarlison plays on the right, he looks confused in where he's supposed to be standing. But to be fair, he's playing out of position. I think that position on the right was the least where he's ever played in his career. But that's just Tottenham. We signed a striker to play on the right. That's just literally what we do.
Yeah, but I mean, he's technically playing as a attacking midfielder, right? So he's got a little bit more space. It's not quite as being a right winger. It shouldn't make that big of a difference. Like, do I think that Son? Maybe we need to start moving Son over to the right. Maybe moving Son over to the right will help him, find a little bit more space, a little bit more, composure. Maybe that's what we should. Maybe with the injuries we have now, you have Son on the right and Perisic on the left, right, and Kane in the middle. Maybe, and then you're stuck with Sessegnon as the left wing back. But maybe then you'll see Son have a little bit more space, a little bit more content, because we all know that he can shoot on his left foot just as well as he can. In fact, last year he shot better with his left foot. So maybe that's something that can help us out. But we do have a 10,001 super chat here from Gogamanim, the Empress. Everybody always gets her nickname right. It's not the Queen. She's the Empress. She's above the Queens. Right? She's the Queen that Queens bow to. So, Will님 다시 스트리밍해서 너무 반갑습니다. 그동안 유튜브 뭔가 어제났어요. 모두 다 해피 뉴 이어. 새해 복 많이 받으세요. P.S. Conte 사랑합니다. So she basically says she's very happy and glad that that we are streaming again. And then she says, while you were gone, it seemed like YouTube was missing something. I think that's what that means. 해전 했어요. That means it was lacking something. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what it means. And then she says, everybody, Happy New Year. And 새해 복 많이 받으세요 is a Korean saying that means new. I hope you have new luck. Okay, thank you. I hope you have new luck, and but it's basically like Happy New Year. It's kind of like saying that they have there. So say hey.
What about that last part where it's P.S.
Oh,
Conte?
P.S. Conte 사랑합니다. That means she loves Conte. By the way, she loves Conte. So, thank you very much, Gogamanim, for the 10,001 super chat. And we also got your Fox friend here keeping me company tonight. So yeah, let's put the Fox over here. There you go, Fox. But yeah, man.
Will twin.
The who?
My twin, Gogama. We have our joke about us being twins. So.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I
the same birthday.
No, just because I said the one time in the chat that we both have the same approach in the chat. We're both kind to everyone and not controversial. Everybody.
I was about to say. I was about to say.
We are twins.
Very different type of twins. I was about to say.
Yes.
No, my birthday's the same as yours, Will.
Yeah, well, I
We
mean,
have the same birthday.
Gogama is born in the same year as us, but you're the same day as well?
Yeah, September 30th.
Oh, right. Yeah, then
We're
we're
1 year
twins.
ahead.
Oh,
'Cause
you're
I'm
79. You're
Yes.
older than me then.
Yeah,
But-
I think I might be a little bit ahead of you.
Not quite 79.
Speaking
I'm reaching
of
it. Yeah.
Speaking of Gogama, we've got her sitting in the back here. Go ahead and bring her on.
What the hell?
The girl from Korea, Gogama님. 안녕하십니까?
안녕하세요. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
New Year. Good to see
Hi,
you, Gogama. It's been a
twin.
long time.
Oh, Happy New Year, twin.
I just
Hi,
realized I was
Dan.
waving to you without my
Hi.
camera on. So
It's good to see you. will님, 안녕하세요. Happy New
안녕하세요.
Year.
Happy New Year. 새해 복 많이 받으세요, Gogama님.
새해 복 많이 받으세요. Happy
Yeah.
New Year, everybody.
You probably follow the lunar calendar more than the Georgian calendar, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Lunar New Year is not for a couple of months, though, right? Like a month?
I think it's at the end of
February? Or end of January?
요번 달 말인 것 같아요. 요번 달.
Okay.
말.
it's changed
Dietrich's
every
learn-
year, so I don't know. Sometimes it's in February, sometimes it's in January. It just depends.
Did Dietrich learn Korean?
No, he's Google translating. So this time he says, will the Hwanghu, I have no idea what that means. Scott, the 부정적인, 부정적인 is like selfish, right?
Negative.
Negative, right? And then
Oh my God, that's a
Dan,
long one.
당신 위 부가티는 무슨 색입니까?
부가티? 자동차? 부가티?
What color is your Bugatti?
Oh, oh man, that last time, last stream where you said that, bro, you don't understand. I was dead in my room laughing.
He wants to know. What is Hwanghu? Gogomanim.
황후 emperor.
Emperor.
Mm-hmm.
Do they say Hwanghu?
So he's
Or 황제.
Yeah, Hwangjae is more. I would say more common, right?
Mm-hmm.
wait. So he's calling you an empress, Will.
Will the Emperor, Scott the negative, Dan, what color is your Bugatti? Is basically what it says. But there's
Dietrich's
it's so
calling Will an
broken up.
empress.
It's so broken up that I can't, if there's a word that I don't know, because people that don't know, there's like 37,000 words in Korean that mean the same thing. I'm exaggerating, obviously. Did you see that guy on Twitter, Dan, that like completely missed your exaggeration? He was like, he quote tweeted you and was like crapping on you. He was like a verified account too, I think.
I don't know. I haven't. Let me see.
Check
I'm
your
too
quote tweets.
important. You know, like.
No, check your quote tweets. There was one that was like, you said, you replied to somebody and said something like, you know, just take a look at the last 30 managers and you'll see why, you know, da da da. But obviously you were exaggerating, right? Like you didn't literally mean 30 managers. Because he was like,
아,
Yeah.
죄송해요.
Somebody actually quote
황후
tweeted. Oh my
empress.
God. Let me see.
죄송해요.
huh?
I know exactly what you're talking about. I know
Big up
exactly what you're saying.
Dietrich.
Big up Dietrich.
He's empress라고 한 거예요.
Empress.
Usually it's 황비.
Yeah,
I
Hwangbi.
know. Mm.
But
Oh, I see it now. This is why I find it so difficult at times to take the Levy Out British seriously. The last 30 managers would take us back to the 1930 to 1940, bro. This guy does not know the definition of exaggeration.
well, I mean, I replied to him. That's what I said. I was like, you know, he was exaggerating, right? Like, if you're going to be pedantic, there's a time to be pedantic and there's a time to not be pedantic. When someone's clearly exaggerating. But Ms. Gogomanim, did you watch the game today? And if so, what were your thoughts about our performance today?
Yes, I watched it with Dan actually. Dan and Twin and Dietrich. I don't know. I thought first half we were okay. I was like hopeful. I thought we were playing pretty well. Mm-hmm. And
Okay.
then after the goal, the Villa goal, I don't know. After that, I felt like everything went down from there. I feel like our morale went down, and like what we were doing, especially at the end of the first half, I felt like we were having like good attacking, but then
I'm sorry. Why is that so loud and why can I not control it?
네?
I'm sorry. I don't. Did you not hear the music?
Yeah, I heard
No.
it, but it's done. It's done now.
Yeah. But like, can you hear this when I do this? Can you hear the music?
No.
I don't hear anything.
You didn't hear anything. Let's probably something's gone wrong. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
No, it's okay.
I pushed the music button because we have a friend in the back, and normally I kind of warm it up into it, but it has how did that get changed? There we go. So continue. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, so yeah, it was just disappointing what happened after the goal. I feel like the morale went down, and like I don't know why like suddenly we were so bad from then. Yeah, it was disappointing.
Yeah, it definitely was disappointing, especially after the after the first goal.
Mhm.
I'm guessing you can hear the music now.
Yes, it's getting dramatic in here.
It's getting dramatic. So somebody mentioned Dietrich's name, the Joker. And so the Batman had to come in. I hope I'm not scaring anyone with my voice.
She's gonna come and be like,
Hey guys.
From Gotham City, The Dark Knight, the voice of, I don't know, CQ.
Hey guys! Some of my favorite people on Spurs too. Hello,
Thank
some
you.
of my favorite people on Spurs too. With the exception of the traitor named Dan, the lad, the lad THFC. I was listening to Goguma, and I agree. I'm saying that, but I actually did not watch the game. So I fully admit that I did not watch the game.
Oh, you didn't get to see it, QB?
I don't know if I would say didn't get to see it. It was more
CQ's,
like that implies like I would have wanted to. So I actually, before World Cup, I would wake up because I'm on West Coast, so I would wake up at like really early in the morning, obviously like as early as like 4:30 a.m. right, to watch the games. And there's not a single time that I've woken up early to watch one of the games and not regretted it. I have like regretted every single time I've woken up early to watch one of the games, because at the very least, even the games that we won, we would always start slow and play like shit the first half. So I always regretted waking up early. So I decided, so Boxing Day, Brentford match, was a 4:30 a.m. game for me. So I actually didn't totally intend to oversleep, but I definitely overslept and like missed it. And then it turned out exactly how I thought it was going to be. Even before that game, I was like, oh, we're probably going to draw. And it's probably going to be a slow start. Ended up turning out exactly that. And then today is my birthday. And so...
Happy birthday.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday.
Thank you. And then the Villa game started at 6 a.m. my time. And so it was early again. So I kind of just like was whatever, I'll sleep until whatever I sleep to. And then I woke up in the middle of the game, saw the score, and just went back to sleep. So so I have not been watching the last two games. I've watched highlights. Okay, I have to admit.
Blame you, bro. I can't blame you.
Yeah. And I definitely watch highlights. I've been following what's kind of going on, and so
you got Peacock. You can watch it back on the replay when it's on Peacock. So
yeah, I'm not going to do that. That will be like 2 hours that I'm glad I don't like.
I got someone's Spurs play password, so I could watch it on there like 5 minutes after the game.
Is it 5 minutes that they have it on there? I have Spurs play.
Yeah, it's quick. It's quick, bro. Like the full match replay is quick on there. The only thing that this club can do quickly is post a full match replay after the game.
Because I want that money.
Look at the money regardless. Because the membership you pay once they're smart with that. Yeah, like you got Peacock that you got to pay $5 a month. They were just like, oh yeah, you pay us $100 a year. That's it.
I think there was an option to pay monthly, if I do remember.
No, there was no option. It was just pay 100 straight.
I don't think I paid 100 either.
No,
I have
there was
Spurs
no
play.
option.
But
I'm surprised they were able to put together a highlight package. There wasn't that much highlights from either team.
No, it's not a highlight
just like
package.
full game.
Oh no, for CQ said she watched the highlights. I'm just saying.
I watched the highlights for Brentford, and then I watched a few little things of the game against Villa, and then was like, I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna watch this.
I thought I had a song for this next guy. There he is. I do. So maybe this one will stop playing. Maybe you'll be able to hear it because he disappeared.
No, that's great. But
you're not hearing music, are you?
No,
I don't hear anything.
I'm not hearing any music.
But look, lads, I've got to go. I know I can only be on for a little bit.
All right, lad.
Good night, Dan.
Later, laddie.
Yeah.
But good night, lads.
Lads and ladies.
Lads and lasses.
No, but Will, I had a question on the camera real quick. Do
Go
you
for it.
recommend to get recommend to get more batteries, because I've noticed that this battery goes quick.
Dummy battery, my friend. So basically what a dummy battery is a fake battery. It's basically like, it looks like a battery. Here, let me see if I can show you one on this camera over here that's not really working. I'll pull it out and show it to you. But, is that locked?
I thought a dummy battery was just like a normal battery.
No, so a dummy battery. So you see this camera here? This is, by the way, this is a different color of the same camera that Dan got, a different lens.
But it's a
obviously,
different
too.
lens, yeah.
Yeah. Canon M200. But underneath here, that's where the battery goes into.
Yeah.
You'll notice that this is a so it's plastic, and it has, you know, the little holes on it and a little thing in there. You pop that puppy in there, and then you just take a regular power cable and you plug that puppy in, and then you turn it on. So that's a dummy battery. So it's basically, I don't ever even hit play, like a record or nothing. It's literally just on the screen. Yeah. And so then it just stays on, and it'll stay on forever until I turn it off. So, yeah, just get yourself a dummy battery. I can send you a link if you want. They're like $20. They're not expensive. I mean, you're 15, so that might be expensive for you, but
that's the rest of my Christmas money done.
There you go, bro.
But yeah, big up Will, big up Scott, big up C Cube, big up Gaguma, big up everyone in the chat. See you guys next time, as always.
Wait, hold on. Are you still going to London for North London Derby?
Yes, I am still going. When I go, I will protest. Here's something that I'm very worried about. I've been seeing on the news that a lot of flights have been getting canceled. If this flight gets canceled, I'm gonna be suing. I'm going to be suing. They cannot cancel this flight. My trip to London in 10 days.
Weeks.
I'm literally 10 days, yeah.
But a lot of flights were getting canceled last week because of all the cold snap. But it's not cold.
Is that what it's for? Okay. Because
last week, that's what it was for. If they're still doing it now, I don't know what it's for. But we do have LA Ian in the back
but
as well.
See you guys next time. Come on, you Spurs.
Later, Danny.
Out.
Bye, Dan.
Yeah.
So we've got one goes out and one comes back in. LA Ian is in the house from LA. That's why he's LA Ian.
Hi, Ian.
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing?
Big up, my man. How are you doing?
Good to see you.
I'm doing okay. You know, I definitely was a little hungover. I got set an alarm for the game, but I did wake up, but I was struggling to stay awake because there's nothing exciting about what we saw this morning. But yeah, other than that, I'm doing okay.
That's good.
So you woke up at 6 a.m. or you just stayed up?
No, I woke up. I set an alarm for like 5:57, late as possible, always. Possible, always.
Yeah.
And then I just roll over, grab my PS5, turn it on, go on to Peacock, and I started watching it. You know, I always start off strong. 10 minutes in, I'm good. And then 15 minutes, nothing's happened. And then 20 minutes, and then I start falling asleep. And then I wake up, and it's the 50th minute in the second half.
It's much like our players.
Yeah, it's just fucking
exactly like our players.
If I'm not going to the LA Spurs bar, the Greyhound, it's tough. It's tough watching that type of performances.
Yeah, I have yet to go to that Greyhound. I've seen it, like that LA Spurs.
Oh, you should come. Absolutely come, please.
Yeah, I mean, I'll
She'd
by
have
the
to
time
reveal her secret identity, though.
I showed my face on a stream one time, but I I actually will be back in the Bay Area by the time the next game happens, so I won't be able to go. But I mean, every
Okay.
time that I've been down here, it's been like a 4:30 a.m. or like a 6
Yeah.
a.m. game. So I'm like, I'd rather watch that at home and
Mhm.
be miserable by myself.
Absolutely. It's easier that way because you know the
Yeah.
inevitable outcome is going to be with the squad right now. Even
Yeah,
if you do scrape a win, it's like, how did that happen? Honestly.
I know
at
how
the
that
very
is.
least,
I don't know how it is for you guys, but because our earliest game here is 7:30, but I do watch that one in my underpants. So
yeah, try
Sometimes if I'm
4:30.
if a big 4:30 game, I'll wake up at 4 a.m. and
see, 4:30 would be
put
easier
on
for me. I can just stay
anything.
up till 4:30. That's easy
You
for
know,
me.
people do that a lot. A lot of people in the Spurs group chat, at least Spurs group chat, that's what they do. They do the parking lot behind the Greyhound. They do a little party all night. I don't know. I just need as much sleep as I can. Anything, 2 hours, I'll do it. Anything. But if it's a big game, I'll wake up at 4 and put on anything that's on the floor, drag my way over to the bar at 4:15 and be there by the start of it.
It's a hard thing for me too about watch longs. They're always at bars, and it's like the games for us. What fun is it to drink at 8 a.m.?
Oh, you haven't tipped the
Nah,
surface.
dude.
of the
I
iceberg.
have like I'm old fashioned, man. I can't drink before 5 p.m., dude. It almost feels like
You don't have to drink like alcohol. You can drink like a coffee.
yeah, but still, it's like I'm going to a bar to drink Coca-Cola and watch a game. It's just weird. Just weird.
Well-
and I have to drive my giant truck down to. I need to sell that thing. Just get a normal car now that I'm in Atlanta.
It depends if it's like a bar or like a real bar where it only sells drinks, or like where I go, they actually sell food, so people get a nice breakfast platter, some
Yeah.
English breakfast, and a coffee, and then you're good to go. And
Yeah,
there's
like I
also-
said,
for
I've
me,
never been
it's a
there, but
45-minute drive. It's like
I go there
Who
for the big games. You don't have to go there every game.
yeah,
Big
but
games,
still,
you know?
but the problem is most of the big games. If it were a big, maybe sort of like Champions League games or something like that, like 2 in the
Yeah.
afternoon or something, I'd probably go down there. But like if we ever got to like a Champions League semifinal or final again, I would definitely go down there for that type of a deal.
Mhm.
But dude, like especially like the earlier games, a lot of the big games are on early, like 12:30 or and it's just like for me to get up at between 7:30 and 10:30 and drive an hour, one way
Yeah,
to watch a
tough.
game
it
is
is
like
tough.
fuck it, ain't.
I guess it's just kind of different because I went a lot when I did 2 years of community college near my house, and I was just going there, and I got really involved with a lot of the like OG members who started it, and I made a lot of good friends, and it's sort of like a time to see my friends, also not only to watch Spurs and have fun, just to see everybody.
Yeah, but I don't know anybody down there either, so
Well, get connected. Get
Yeah.
connected. Why not?
I'll probably walk in and people start punching me. It's probably what's gonna happen. But we
Believe
got
me, I'm the
steak in the
loudest-
house.
Steak.
Steak. We got steak.
Cut his legs. That's what she said. Deuce. Babe. Cut my legs. What's going on, steak?
Could be better, but at least we had in out chants in the stadium.
That we did. But we got a super sticker from Gogama while she's on stream. That's how cool she is.
여우 보고 싶어서 한 거예요.
And she wanted to see the fox, so we got this one. He's holding a little heart, and he's
Yay.
I gotta get the tail in there too, I guess, huh? Because the tail and the thing is kind of
귀여워.
there you go. I can't put him there. He blocks the camera.
So I just got home, and so I didn't watch the stream earlier, and I know that Goguma was talking, and Goguma, I adore you so. We talk all the time. And you are the most optimistic, lovely person I've ever met. We should all have more Gogumas in our life.
Me
And I am
too.
curious how you
Mhm.
feel about what's going on right now, considering your level of optimism and like goodwill towards all.
You mean on the pitch or like
Everything.
everything?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm just really worried because like before I was watching Henry Wright TV, his show, and like right before I went on there, I was like seeing something on YouTube, and like people were saying that Conte had resigned or something. And so like I
Making
was
up
so
stories.
shocked, you know, and like it just seems like so bad right now. And people are all saying, well, a lot of people were saying that Conte is going to walk, or they don't expect him to be here. Honestly, though, I don't know. Personally, I don't think he's going to go. I feel like he's going to stay. But I don't know. I maybe they probably know more than I do. But yeah, I'm just really worried because I don't want Conte to leave.
Neither do we. Look, I don't think Conte's gonna leave personally. I don't think Conte's ever really left a job. I guess you could say he kind of left Inter, but at least he finished out the season before he left.
Yeah.
I don't see him. He's been fired before by Chelsea, so I think he'll get sacked before he walks.
Yeah, same. But I think he's gonna get. I don't just think he's gonna get sacked before he leaves. I think he will get sacked.
Really? You think
I think he will. I think he will.
Think he can. I don't think he can. I don't think Levy has the power to sack Conte.
Well, if the fans keep turning against Conte combined with Conte as well as Levy Out in order to save his own skin and his own ego and face, Levy will sack Conte because he needs a fall guy.
Wait, but is it a lot of people who are turning against him?
Yes.
It is?
Yeah, there's more than there should be. There's a lot of dumb people out there.
The future of this club right now all rides on this month, January. If Conte can survive this January with the fixtures we have coming up, let's say we do a 180 and we start playing fantastic. We beat Arsenal, we beat Man City, we move on to the next round in the FA Cup. Let's just say all this crazy shit happens and he manages to get through with it, we'll be good. I think he will sign a new contract, but if he fails, like he's set up to do because Levy sets him up to fail, he's not going to survive January. The second we lose 4-1 to Arsenal and we get battered 6-2 to Man City and somehow we fuck up the FA Cup, yeah, he's not surviving. He's not surviving. If he goes, Kane goes, Son goes, Romero goes, all the top players who actually have ambition, they all go. And then who is the most perfect manager for a rebuild is the guy we had 4 years ago, which is absolutely stupid. It's a stupid decision to go back to Poch. If you want to go back to Poch, I'm telling you, it's the worst decision we can make. I would rather, I can't believe I'm saying this, I would rather have Ryan Mason than Pochettino. I'm not joking.
I'd rather.
You listening?
I can't handle Ryan Mason's press conferences. The level of
I think he wins us the Champions League. Ryan Mason.
The level of Levy dick sucking that goes on in his press conferences is just unbearable.
If we go back to Poch, we're literally erasing 4 years.
The reason why I want to go back to Poch is because I know for a fact that Poch will end up getting sacked about a year and a half after. So I think then, right, because there's not a lot of love for the Conte style of play, Levy gets kind of a free pass for sacking Conte, right? I'm just saying because a lot of people think Conte is boring.
I agree with you.
But if Pochettino gets sacked again after a year, right, when we all know everybody loves Pochettino, I don't think Levy survives sacking Poch twice.
Depends how bad Poch's form is at that time.
He shouldn't be surviving now.
He shouldn't be surviving now, I agree. But unfortunately, we have a lot of people with cognitive dissonance, and it's really sad.
I'm sure by that point, though, still people will come up with a reason why Poch should be fired, and it'll You know what? Like the problem is, there's people will always in our fan base come up with reasons why not to blame Levy, why it's not the player's fault, why it's always the manager's fault. That's my concern. So and I know he said Mason over Poch, and I mean, if Conte leaves, I wouldn't say I don't care, but I don't care that much. Bring in whoever because
you're going to sack him anyway.
It's going to be
exactly. We should not all care because eventually he's just going to get sacked a year and a half, just like Will said. A year and a half later, Poch will get sacked. It's the fucking system.
You can't hire a dude that doesn't even have his coaching certificates. You know what I mean? Like,
if Conte goes
it'd be a cheap option. I'll tell you that. It really would.
No, Mason won't ever be I don't think he'll hire him as the main one because if he hired Mason and then when Mason fails, at least you could say, I don't think Poch would be successful. But at least if you rehired Poch, you could see some route where, like you said, the football might be good, so fans would be satisfied, or he might be able to, he wouldn't be a disaster. If you hire Ryan Mason, you are looking at Everton last year levels, right? You're looking at below 10th. So I don't think, yes, it's a cheap option, but it's also Levy has a chance to lose everything. So he'll just have him there. He'll constantly be the caretaker manager. He'll be the good guy so that when Levy fires anyone and Mason comes in, fans will be like, oh, we love Mason. You can't be mean to Mason. And it'll help soften the blow for whenever he fires someone. Because as Will can tell you, you're not allowed to criticize Ryan Mason.
Yeah, you're not. I had literally had people check marks block me back in the day when I simply just said that Ryan Mason was at fault for us not getting top 4. Not solely at fault, but played a role in it.
Yeah, so he fills that role, right? He does what Levy wants when he fires the manager.
He was the greatest manager the Spurs have ever had. The best winning record ever. How dare you question the man who got his skull split open for a different team and then came back to Tottenham. Like the injury didn't even happen when he played at Spurs. Right? This is how
you can't make it up. You really can't.
Yeah, people stood on his injury to defend him. How could you say something for somebody who gave so much? It's like the injury didn't even happen when he played for Tottenham, you moron. Right? Like
you can't make that up. But it's true. I remember seeing that on Twitter. Like, how can you question? He's one of our own. Like, no, I'm gonna continue to question him because my eyes see what my eyes see.
And he wasn't even like, I mean, I don't want to kick the man when he's down, but he wasn't like he was like a great player for us, like one of our own.
No,
or something
yeah,
like
it's
that, right?
like Harry
I can understand
Winks.
if it was like Ledley King or even Michael Dawson, right? Somebody
Harry Winks
doesn't have
the
to be a
best.
legend, but like they were good players. Or King's a legend, but it was Michael Dawson, right? He wasn't a superstar, but he was a good, solid player for us. So I could see the sentimentality. But Ryan Mason was.
I mean, he didn't even have a moment.
Even
It's
Harry
not like he was an average player who, like a Lucas Moura who has a hat trick, or a Paul Stewart who scores a free kick, in a big giant final, right? Like to win the game. He wasn't even an average player who had a moment of magic. He was just a Harry Winks, right? People are all over him.
Harry Winks, even Harry Winks scored a winner at Craven Cottage. I mean, at least he had one moment, right? So it doesn't matter.
Is he like 30 as well? It's like,
I don't know.
And I was talking with, I'm like the person, the negative person in the LA Spurs group chat. I'm like always saying some shit about how we're not running the club properly, and a good amount of Levy inners, Enoch inners, in that group chat, and they always put up the point that they kind of see it more as a business. Okay, fair enough. Whatever, that's fine. You can see it as business, but businesses they can always change the ownership of a business or who's running the business, the chairmanship. Why is it such a controversial idea to have a business change its ownership or who's running it, their chairman, right? I don't understand how this is such a complicated concept for them. If you're going to think of it as a business, fine. Think of it as a business. Think of it as a business.
If I was
ownership, let's change the chairman. Let's see if we can get even better. And if you're afraid to even try that, then you should not be in business in the first place.
I think Joe Lewis's daughter should just sack. So all of Joe Lewis's assets have been put into a trust, and it's a trust that the kids manage, right? So he's still alive, but he's trusted all of his stuff, right? I would just go in and sack him. You can sack Levy. Levy can be sacked.
Absolutely.
Right. He's an owner. I own my business, but I don't own all of my business. I have a board, and there's a group of us. If they wanted to replace me with a different CEO, he could do that tomorrow. And there's nothing I could do about it, even though I own 20% of the business, 10% of the business. You know,
there's no
or whatever
chance
Levy owns.
that Joe Lewis even knows that we had a game today. There's no shot that he even knew we had a game today. He doesn't even know if we're in the Champions League or not. He doesn't know what place we're in. I bet you he doesn't even know a single thing about us. Honest to God.
Yeah, because I just don't see how even a businessman, right? Unless they literally, the only thing they're concerned about is the assets of the club rather than the club itself, right? So if all they care about is the properties that the club owns, right? The physical assets of the club, and they don't care about the brand or the legacy or anything else, there's no reason why they shouldn't want to be successful, right? Because success means more fans. Success means more revenue. Success means, further and longer on into the Champions League, which is a bigger amount of money than they get from ticket sales, right? So, and this is the thing too. How in the world do we only have 30 million to spend in the window? That's not possible. Right? The club's revenue is over 500 million a season. Right? And we only spend about 300 million. Where's the other 200 million going? Right? The lease on the mortgage on the stadium is only 20 million a year.
Joe Lewis's yacht, probably.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, all of the extra stuff, the NFL, which brings in this much, the boxing, the concerts, all that stuff, according to Daniel Levy, is supposed to go back into the club. Where is it going? To pay his salary, even since he's the highest paid chairman in all of the Premier League? Like, where is that money going?
I'll spend every penny on myself.
even the smaller sums, like the $150 million war chest we were given. We only spent about 80 million of that.
Yeah, 72 or something like that.
Where's the rest? Where? 30 million?
It's
No, we should have at least 70 million to spend this window, at least. But like you said, the money, I don't know. The books will tell, but we'll never see the books.
No, I don't think Conte's leaving at all. I think he's staying. He said several times, we've got 6 months together, or we've got till June, or whatever it is he's going. I don't think he's going to leave right now.
Wait, Will, you think if let's theoretically say we mess up next Saturday, we're out of the FA Cup. We get battered by Arsenal, and we get battered, rightly so, by Man City. You think he's surviving that?
If he might get sacked, right? But it's not that he's going to leave, right? Eugene's comment is,
I misinterpreted.
Nah, I think our players know Conte is leaving very soon, and they are depressed. Right?
I think it'll be later in the season.
The players know Conte is leaving. Probably we're already told. No, I don't think he's leaving now. I think because his words today. If you look at his press conference today, he pretty much tells you exactly how he feels. He said, "I thought we played good today, especially in the first half. Right? We played this. I trust my system. I trust the players. Right? But right, the expectation of us staying in the top four with the quality and the caliber of player that we have is insane." Right? If we want to compete at that level, we have to have 14 to 15 quality players and then buy 50 to 60 to 70 million players every year. Right? And that's how we'll get things done. And he said, I've told the board this, right? They know my feelings on it, right? But they have their vision and their policy. And so fans have to be patient. Right? They have to lower their expectations. Right?
We're the least patient fan base in the Premier League, 100%.
Well, I mean, it's because we have had to deal with Daniel Levy for the past forever and ever and ever. You know,
there's even what your opinions were on Jose. Jose never got to build his squad at Tottenham. He never had a fighting chance at Spurs. Not even a fighting chance. Whether you liked his style of football or not, that man never got a chance to build his squad. Okay, and once someone has their squad, then we can evaluate.
I don't think Poch had his squad we wanted.
Say it again.
I don't think Poch had his team fully made as well.
He did it first. Hold on, at first he did.
Seen the clip. He said we need to rebuild. Not like
a rebuild. So when
next year.
Poch first came to the club, we did go through a rebuild. He got rid of 6, 7, 8, 9 players and signed a bunch of new players. Alderweireld, Son, you know, quite a few. Right, there was quite a few players that he brought in during his first year and a half there, and it was after we started getting some top 4 success in the stadium. It wasn't until that season and a half that we were at Wembley, really, that we stopped buying people. I mean, Lucas Moura was kind of the last guy that we bought before that whole period went. And, David wants to know, Will, what's the problem with Son? Is this due to tactics or bad form? I think it's a little bit of both, to be honest with you. Do I think the Son has been... I think the only thing that's different this season about Son from any other season is his finishing ability, right? Son's always been a person who's exceeded his XG by 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 goals a season. And right now, the number of shots and shots on target that he's having is very similar to last season. They're just not going in. And people forget that he only had 4 goals... And one of those 4 goals was a free kick, right, that happened to bounce into the far post at the beginning of last season by December.
I remember that game.
Right, 19 of his 23 goals.
Those Wolves, right?
Yeah, 19 of his 23 goals happened after the new year.
So people saying we should get rid of Son, they just lack critical thinking skills. Even if it is just a bad form, okay, he's going through bad form. Okay, so what? The man has earned at least earned the right for us to keep believing in him. At least.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, too, if people are going to give the same shot, if people were going to come on this show, right, during when I did the Harry Kane tracker last season, right, and we're going to tell me that I was being unreasonable for questioning 2 goals in 22 games, right, then you should at least be giving Son 22 games with 3 goals before you start raising a ruckus. Otherwise, you're just a hypocrite, right?
Yeah,
I think there is a problem with Son. The same problem that is with all of our players. Son is not the only one of our players that has taken a dip in form. Okay, a lot of our players are not doing so hot right now.
All of them.
It's like Romero, he was injured for a lot of the season, unfortunately. But when he did play, he was not playing well. I know that he probably wasn't 100% when he was playing, but he wasn't playing well. Son got injured as well. He hasn't been playing his best. Even Kane, even though he's been scoring, he hasn't been playing his best either. As an all-around player, Kane is a stronger player than he has been playing this season. He is a better player than he has been playing this season. And all of his goals, with the exception of 2 goals, have been pens and headers. And a lot of the headers are from set pieces. So nobody's been playing all that well. Even all of us saying like Bentancur and Højbjerg. Bentancur and Højbjerg have been our better players, like the best, of our players this season. But they could be better too. Like all of our players. Son is no different from all of our players just taking a dip in form because of the morale being shitty, because it's not working. And so I think that, and then it's going to continue. Like Son is, I don't think that Son is going to be playing really well against Crystal Palace, because everybody, players know, just like Conte knows, that there is really bad morale around the entire club right now. The fans are all toxic right now, turning against each other, turning against other aspects of the club or the manager or the players or whatever. They can sense that. They can feel that. I'm sure that the dressing room morale is not good right now. Yeah. And when players are not happy, they don't play well.
It's true. And just to back Cubed up, Kane's only scored 5 goals from open play this season, and only 3 of those have come off of a foot. So Harry Kane's only scored 3 goals this season from open play with his feet.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like 2 or 3, and that's not. I'm not knocking Kane for. I'm not knocking him for that. I'm just saying that generally speaking, all of our players, including Kane, who I would say is one of our best players right now, even he is not playing at his best. That's my point in that. I think that, even Dietrich, who loves Kane, admits that he's not playing at his best. Yeah. So
like today he was god awful.
Yeah, there's something's going on with the entire squad right now, because morale is really awful, and because we are not buying new players, that signing players that we need to get. I think that's the issue, and people are. It's actually really sad, because when you look at Sonny, who I would agree, the tactics don't suit him the best. He's also in bad form. His shots are less clinical than they were last season. But he always tries his hardest. But now, like the game, I saw like clips of it and stuff of the Villa game. He took his mask off and threw it on the pitch, because out of frustration, right? And so I don't know if people realize what the club is doing right now. We are breaking the happiest footballer in the world right now. That's what's happening right. We are breaking the happiest footballer in the world, who is one of the hardest footballers in the world too. And that goes to show how bad it is that we are breaking him.
But I think he wants to try really hard too. So there's a lot of things that's going on, I think, with Son, more than just what you're seeing on the pitch, right? So you had him winning the Golden Boot, and then you have, if anybody's ever watched an interview with Son, he has what they call in Korea a complex, some psychological, I would say, damage from his father, to where his father, so family's huge, and his father always kind of talks down on him. And you could see in his face this summer when his dad made the comments that he made, I think he was hurt a little bit. And so now he's trying harder than ever. I think he's trying too hard. He's playing with more of a chip on his shoulder rather than happy, I think. I haven't seen him smile this much at all this season. And I think that plays a part. I'm not saying that's the whole of it. But he seems to me more angry than happy this season. Like he has to prove that he can do it again, that it wasn't just a fluke, right? That he is world class. And I don't think that pressure helps. Then he had the World Cup, Korea almost not qualifying for it. That whole thing is also, the dude's under a lot of pressure.
That's it.
And more pressure than any of our other players, I think. Not just because but it's all pressure that he's put on himself or that his family's put on him. The dude's not even allowed to have a significant other. You know what I mean? He's 30 years old, and he's doesn't have a wife or kids or anything else. Now, I know that in Korea that's not super old to not be married, but
he also has got a lot of pressure from just representing an entire. He's not representing just a country like Korea. Like he is representing an entire Asian population, being like one of a few Asian players, and definitely the most high profile Asian player in the Prem and maybe the world in general. And he knows every little thing that he does is going to be it's going to be magnified.
Yeah.
Everything he does, everything. Like maybe other people, like, I don't know, in like the UK or whatever, are not paying attention to every little thing he does. But he will literally laugh at somebody making a joke, and it's like headline news in like Korea. Like it's like everything is like headline news. He does like an interview with the Korean media post match, every single match. Like, you know how like Spurs, you know, PR team picks players to do the post-match interview, like, and then they sometimes will do some post-match interviews here and there and stuff, and they take turns. Son does a post-match interview every single game because the Korean media is there to talk to him every single game.
100%. And I'm just going to share this real quick, and I know that people don't like stats, but you know, this is my show and I do. So, but this is just kind of one of the things that I want people to kind of just see as a trend that happened with Son. And if it's hard to see, I'll zoom in on it a little bit, so people can see the numbers here that I want to talk about. So if you look at his goals this season, you know, 3 last season, 23, 17, 11, 12, 12, 12, 14. All right, so Tottenham 4. He only played 28, only had 1,000 minutes. So, so if you look at 1,200 minutes, 3 goals, 1,100 minutes, 4 goals. But this is the key thing that I want to kind of look here. And I know that XG is not a metric for what actually happens, but it is a good thing. So he's not far off. And this is the one that I thought was really interesting. If you look at expected goals per 90 minutes, this is what the chances that he's been getting. And it's the lowest amount of chances that he's ever had at Tottenham. So 0.27 XG per 90 is what he's expected right now. So he's getting the least amount of service as he's ever had at Tottenham. And that is affecting it, because if you look at his XG here, expected goals, it's not that low. His XG is 3.73. So he should have scored 4 goals and he scored 3. Like he's really not missing. I said this earlier too in the show about Darwin Núñez and the difference between those two players. And that is Darwin Núñez has missed 14 big chances this season. 14. Son has missed 3. So it's not like he's had these big giant chances that he's just squandering. Right? He's not getting the chances. And when you look at the shots per 90, I'm going to throw us back up for one more time, right? Just so you guys can see the shots per 90 this season compared to last season. And he's actually exceeding. He's shooting more this season than he did last season. And that's what I don't understand from people when they say that he's playing so bad. Yes, he's not scoring the same goals that he scored last season, but his overall play is actually better. You remove the goal scoring and assisting attribute of it, right? The rest of that game that is involved in his position, which is a lot, is better than last season. More shots on target per match than last season. More key passes than last season. It's just not going in.
So the reason why I said that I think he is off form in a lot of ways is because I don't think that his shots are as clinical, because we've seen him shoot some amazing shots in the past. And I feel like this season, some of his shots are just, they're like not as high quality shots, in the sense that he is often like just shooting like basically at the keeper sometimes. That is eye test, but I do feel like there are some shots that I feel like a Son from last season, it might have gone in and gone past the keeper, and maybe this season is not as much. And I think that some of that might be a confidence thing. Some of that might be a decisive, like he's not having enough, he feels like he doesn't have enough time to make that decision, or he has too much pressure, because he is getting a lot more he's getting man marked out of the game a lot more than he did before, in the sense that he's the Golden Boot winner from last season.
Yeah.
So he's been getting fouled, like, and I'm not just taking like little tactical foul. He's like yellow card, red card fouled, like almost every game. I think and so I think that, he has like 2 players on him, so he has to be very decisive. He has to make decisions very quickly, and I think that the quality of his shots sometimes are maybe not as good because of the fact that he has 3 players on him sometimes, and 2 players, and he has to make a decision very, very quickly.
Yeah, I just think that he's just not. It's just not happening. It's just not clicking for him, because I think it's the law of averages. If you look at his XG over seasons, he kind of he exceeds it by 6. He exceeds it by 1. Then he goes 2 seasons exceeding it by 6, and then he exceeds it only by 2, and then he exceeds it by 7. Right, and I think it's just the law of averages that every now and again he has a season where that kind of matches his XG. If you kind of look at the situation where he's doing it here, really the key place where it's hurting him is inside the penalty area, right? He's exceeding his XG for shots outside the box, right? And inside the penalty area, it's just not clicking for him, right? And his XG per shot, if you look at it, is really low, right? Low XG for each shot that he takes is only 0.13, so that's 13%, 4% from outside the box, right? 27% from inside the outside of the box. Huh?
What website is that? I'm curious. It just looks nice.
Understat.com. Understat.com. It's part of my holy trinity.
I'll just say this. I mean, I know, the question was asked to Will, and he's answering. He can talk about Son and his stats the most. I actually haven't been talking about Son for a while. I just started to, like, in this stream, but for the last several streams I've been on, I haven't been talking about Son. And even when people are kind of directing things at me because they expect that I'll get all defensive about him, I don't really care to defend Son or to talk about him all that much anymore, because as a club, I think we have so many other issues and bigger problems right now. And I actually don't love it when people I actually hate it when people are hyper focusing on Son, or even some of our other players that are some of our better or best players. Like when they were hyper focusing on Romero, saying that he was faking injuries and stupid shit like that. And then, even like, I know Lloris has, had bad games, but like, he's not our worst player on the pitch. Like, I'm like, you're just losing the lead here. Like, I just don't think that it's helpful or constructive or important to be focusing on individual players that are clearly like our better players on the squad, and ignoring the bigger issues that are at the club. Because selling Son, or, getting a replacement for Lloris, who has a contract anyways, that he has to, he's definitely going to see out, right? Like, focusing on selling them or getting rid of whatever or finding replacements for them is not going to change the trajectory of a club as much or as impactful.
Yeah, I just for me, the only reason why I'm even bringing it up is because people are making it out like, so it's today, right? Like, if anybody goes and looks at the SofaScore ratings for today, Son was the best player on the pitch for us today, statistically. Right? But there's nobody who's willing to admit that. I mean, we've got even Harry Jackson here that says Son was horrible for South Korea, even though he was the reason they got out of the group. Right? So I don't know if he was. I don't see how he's horrible for South Korea. I watched South Korea's games. Son's assists and his work on the ball were why they got where they got.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I mean, he drugged them out of that group on his shoulders.
맞아요.
Right. So I don't see how he was bad for South Korea. He's playing for a South Korean team. He's not going to be he's never been as successful for Korea as he has been playing at Spurs. But like is he scoring like he did last season? No, he's definitely not as clinical as he was last season. But that's because he was supernaturally clinical right? Like he was one of the most clinical finishers in the entire world. And that's come down a little bit, a lot. But even then, you've noticed his shots and his XG aren't high. It's one of the lowest seasons that he's had opportunity-wise, right? The lowest XG that he's had in the entire time that he's ever played for Tottenham. So that can be due to many other things. It can be to a chemistry issue with Perisic that a lot of people have brought up. It can be to Conte playing Harry Kane higher up and having Son and Kulusevski play deeper and them not moving up, right? There was a little bit of an inversion there. And it's true. You can look at Harry Kane's heat map. He doesn't drop deep hardly at all anymore. And you have Son and Kulusevski playing more narrow and dropping deeper and trying, playing with their backs to goals. With their back to goal. So there's a lot of reasons that Son could be doing it. But all I'm saying is that with the quality that Son Heung-min has, and he's had bad runs of form before, and people don't realize he only had 4 goals this time last season, although it happened in 4 different games. But even then, people were arguing that the 4 goals he had in the first season were flukes anyway. So the fact that it happened in 1 game versus 4 games to me is irrelevant. I just don't see why Son isn't capable of being the player that we know he can be for the rest of the season, when everything points to it that he can. Right? So
I think
history says.
Now, since I've been labeled as a Son apologist, which makes me laugh, but I'll put my little 2 cents in here. One of the things that's so frustrating with this fan base
wasn't much better. He barely played.
Is the worst thing that Son has had this year is that he was so great before. So he doesn't live up to those expectations. And this is what you see with this team. And this is why you'll have people criticizing Conte because they're fools.
Yeah.
Because we have relied so much on Son and Kane doing things that almost nobody else does in the Premier League, playing at a level that's so high that they carry our team. So if we have a little bit of a drop-off and nobody else on the team, because our team is so poorly put together, can step up, it looks terrible. And then people focus, why aren't Son and Kane doing the incredible things that they've done in their past? They're still both better than anybody else around them. Son, you could argue that Kulu maybe is better in the few games he's played, but he's played so rarely this year that I don't know how you could say that he's been better overall. When you're only playing in half the games, your impact is so little, and especially for Kulu, and I know many people won't want to hear it, there's lots of portions in games where he does nothing. Mm-hmm. He does have moments of brilliance, great, but he has large portions of the game where he does nothing. So now, like you said, Son isn't exceeding his XG higher than anybody else in the world like he normally does. Mm-hmm. Still doing pretty decently, but now it's what's wrong with Son? What's wrong with Son? Not how come when Son and Kane aren't a 10 out of 10, we have nobody else in our team that can step up. That never seems to be the question, right?
Or even just why don't people look at the data and say, hey, Son's taking his more shots than he did last year, and he's getting less opportunities to score than he did last year. What else is going on in the team that's causing Son's numbers to drop? I don't hear that analysis, right? Like even if the conclusion of that analysis was Son's crap this year, at least there's an actual analysis of the variables to come up with it rather than Son's shit. Right? Like people, I just want people to be more nuanced in their criticism than like when I went after Harry Kane last year, I had spreadsheets on it. Right? It's not like I was just doing it because he hadn't scored. Right? There were season by season comparisons of how, boo boo boo, dot and dot. I did work on it. Right, for my opinion. I just don't see why people are so lazy to throw a guy under the bus who's been one of our best players over the last half a decade, that he doesn't deserve at least an in-depth analysis as to why, right? What is the reason? And then come up, no critical analysis of it at all. Just shit on him, He's finished.
Seems to be the
He's
way
30.
that CQ was saying is we're looking this year for some reason. It's all the top level people that have proven it get no stick, but we have to hear about how we just have to give Richarlison more time and he will start to do stuff, even though he's never shown any level close to Son's, not even remotely close. Richarlison hasn't even shown barely the level that Son has shown this year, right? But we're supposed to wait for him. But Son, get out, right?
Yeah,
Conte
I
has
don't
shown
care.
everywhere he goes, everywhere Conte goes, he wins trophies. He wins. He plays
Yes.
good football.
Mhm.
But now he comes to Spurs, all of a sudden he's forgot how to manage. Even though these players have played the exact same way for the last four managers, but Conte magically forgot how to manage when he came here. Romero's faking injuries, and that's allowed at our club. Like, why are we going after all the top players at our club, and we can't, or people at the club, and we can't criticize the people who actually can't play football, the people who are actually holding our club back?
Yeah,
Yes, Harry Jackson,
I
that's
mean,
about it.
honestly, for me, at least, I am the most, and I'm like not trying to turn against anybody here, but I'm as someone who is part of the fan base, I recognize I'm someone who's part of the fan base. The fan base is actually frustrating me right now more than anybody, to be totally honest, because I feel like the fan base is completely turning against each other and fighting and split and attacking little things here and there that are not going to result in have enough of an impact. Like, they're missing the big picture. And I'm just like, you're just like exactly what Scott was saying, that I was saying, like, it's not just attacking our best players and Conte, who has a winning record and everything. It's also attacking the things that you think that selling this one player, or this, like, literally just this one player, who is a better player, or sacking our manager, this one manager who hasn't been here as long as our owners have and everything. Do you think that is just going to magically change things? There is no magic changing on that level, So I was just like, I don't understand why people are focusing in on these minute little details of one single thing that is not going to change this epidemic.
Welcome to Tottenham
issue.
Hotspur, Cube.
Yeah,
this is what's been going on for the past since Poch got sacked. Because this is the thing, and it kind of goes into this comment here from Imported Yida. Because people like Scott will ridicule you for criticizing Conte tactics. If any other manager was here, you'd all be blaming the tactics for some drop. Not true. It is not true. Sava says this all the time. If Jose Mourinho, blah, 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 you'd be asking for his head. Not true. There's been one manager that I ever blamed for results and or outcomes, and that's Ryan Mason. And I was doing it out of ironic sarcasm, right? Because I didn't want Jose sacked. Go back and watch the channel. I was against Jose I was never Jose out. Never.
What about Nuno? Revisionist history about Jose being so maligned. Like, when he got sacked, people were pissed about it and complained about it all the time. Like, now there's this whole big revisionist history, surprisingly, maybe mostly from people who are Conte out, talking about, Jose was so, everybody hated Jose. Like, people didn't want it. Jose was defended quite a lot. And if he wasn't, it's because Jose's a freaking polarizing person in the whole footballing world, right? There's people. He's a polarizing guy. As for why, when you say that I ridiculed your opinion, you were complaining that Harvey White wasn't on the bench today. I'm sorry, but if your fucking complaint is that that Conte's a bad manager because he didn't put Harvey White, who struggled in League One last year, on the bench, then yes, I will ridicule you, because that's a stupid fucking complaint when it comes to Conte. It's stupid.
But
if that's ridicule, then I apologize.
Yeah, I just want people to say, I'm not Conte out. And the same reason I wasn't Nuno out. Right? Like, how many people defended Nuno to the very end? Is there anybody but me in the world?
You do.
Maybe Gogama. It's me and Gogama. Right? That's because Gogama doesn't ridicule anybody.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Gogama's on everybody's side.
I was Nuno in, not because, what did I say at the end of Nuno? I said it doesn't matter what manager you get in, it's going to be the same. The same thing's going to happen. And in fact, I actually went back on that after the second half of the season that Conte had last season. I was like, look, I didn't realize the management, but look what's happening now. It's the exact same. It may have taken longer to happen under Conte, right? But it happened, right? The pigs took their dresses off, wiped their lipstick off, and you could see that they're pigs, right? Like I said at that point, you can't polish a turd, right? You might be able to dry it out to keep it from stinking, but you can't polish it, right? You can't make it shine brighter than it is, right?
The other thing is, for me, I feel like in the same vein where I'm like saying, if you focus in on one of our better players and expect that if you just remove that player that things are going to be amazing, by selling Son, or if you're saying, oh, sacking Conte, that things are going to be, magically better by that. On the same account, a lot of us are like Emerson is shit, like Dyer is shit, right? But like, which they are. Okay, I'll be right now, I'll just say I think they are, okay? But just getting rid of just Dyer, maybe things might get a bit better, but that's not going to like win us the league. Like Dyer did not start today. We still played badly. Okay. Like, Emerson didn't start. He did play, but he didn't start. We still didn't do great. So, I mean, it's not one player. It's not one manager. It's an entire big picture issue. And who is responsible for the big picture? Who is responsible for everything at the club? It's the owners. It's Levy.
Yep.
It's Lewis. They're responsible for everything at the club because that's their job, is to be responsible for everything at the club. Conte has control over a certain amount of things. He does not have control over everything at the club. So, I mean, this is like a big picture plague at this point.
Yeah. So we got Barry and Baxter here. I don't know if you're two people or one.
I'm going to chime in here real quick. I'm going to have to leave soon. I'm going to leave right now, actually, but it's a perfect time for me to end on because you're talking about there's one man responsible. There's one person responsible, and this is Levy and Enoch. 100%. My last message before I leave, Enoch out, Levy out. I'm telling you, once we get them out, this club can go farther than you can ever imagine. They are holding this back. I truly believe it.
I agree.
So thank you guys. Thank you for having me on, Will, and Enoch and Levy out.
Big up, Ian. You're always welcome. Everybody check out LA Ian on Twitter. All that good stuff. And but I just want to say, so Barry and Baxter, I don't know if you're two people or one. But this Conte is not without fault. I agree. Look, everybody has fault, right? So this is gonna be a little bit coarse, but it's me, so people are used to it by now. If I were to punch a hole punch through my wiener, right, and cause me when I pee to pee out sideways, if I accidentally peed on you, if I was facing that direction, yeah, it's my fault. But if somebody had hole punched my penis and it wasn't me that punched it, they're the cause for me pissing on your shoes, right? Yes, it's my fault. I did it, right? But it's because of the situation that I did that I made that mistake. Conte is making mistakes, but it's because he's having to work in an atmosphere or a situation that is not normal, right? So, yes, has Conte made mistakes? Yes. There's nobody who doesn't make mistakes. Is he making mistakes because he has all the available tools that anyone could imagine and he's just making poor choices? No. He's kind of blindfolded and throwing darts at the dartboard. Sometimes he's going to hit a bullseye. Sometimes he's going to miss the board altogether, right? But it's because he's blindfolded, right? He doesn't have the tools that he needs in order to be successful, right? If you told me, do a stream at the same quality I'm doing it now, but I can only use my cell phone. Can I stream? Yes. Can I make it look good? Yes. Can I make it look this good? No. It's not possible. And that's what I think he's talking about today with his expectations, right? He's like, I trust myself. I trust my system. I even trust the players, right? But with the pool of players that I have, the expectation of anything more than 4th, 5th, 6th, or 7th is bad.
Yeah, I mean, like, even people that are honing in on, like, oh, this is who he picks, or this, and like, again, I agree with Will. I agree with you. I mean, I don't think that Conte is without fault. I think that sometimes he makes changes a little bit too late, in my opinion. But and yeah, you know, some things don't suit, you know, certain tactics and so forth. But I just think that those are all lesser issues, because like even the people that are like, oh, these are who he picks and he should play Hill. He played Hill today. So that went real well, you know. People are like, Sarr is looking really great and Spence is looking great. I mean, they didn't get a lot of time, but he did bring him on. He shouldn't play Dyer. You know, he didn't start Dyer. He shouldn't play Emerson. Well, he didn't start Emerson. He did play, but he didn't start him. So my point is that he did do a lot of the things that you were asking for today. You were asking for those changes. He made those changes. There were other games when people were like, why hasn't he picked these guys, or why hasn't he done this? And then he did try it and he did do it, and we still were bad. So that means that it's not those things. There's a bigger issue.
And this isn't a shot at you, William. This is, there's a lot of people saying this too, with the 4 at the back system. And this is what really bothers me as well, right? Like, first of all, not only is it outside of his purview, if every place else he's ever played at, his style has worked over the last 13, 15 years, why would you do that? Like, if I worked at a job, if somebody hired me to design products, and they hired me because I'm successful at designing products, I design good products, why would I change how I design the products at the place where you hired me? Right? That's what I do. Conte was hired. Paratici hired Conte because he plays 3 at the back. He wanted Nuno to play 3 at the back. If you listen to Paratici's press conferences, and they wanted to play a 3 at the back system. And not only that, if our biggest struggle and weakness is our defense, why would you remove numbers from that? It doesn't make sense to me. And people, Conte should play 4 at the back. Why? How is 4 at the back better than 5 at the back? Well, you could put 3 midfielders in front. Well, you could play a 3-5-2 and put 3 midfielders in front of the back 3, and we still lose games. Right? So,
well, the thing is just like, I mean, if he's so bad, if Conte's so bad, fine, maybe we don't know. To be totally honest, like, it's like, fine, maybe he is or he isn't. We don't know for sure until he gets backed. He didn't get 100% back. So you don't actually know if he would be successful or not. If he was 100% back and then he failed, then that's on Conte. But he wasn't like that. It wasn't like he was backed. He didn't get a chance. He hasn't been given the chance to truly prove if he is the right manager or not. And people saying that he was backed because, he got Perisic, who was his pick. What is that? One guy, who was on a free, as opposed to how many? Longley was clearly a stopgap. Basuma is like, they're expecting him to play in a different formation. Richie is like, they're like, well, he can play any of the front 3 positions. Why are we always getting players that are like, hey, you know what? This is maybe a good player, but they can play 3. They're very, very versatile. They can play 3 positions. Why do we buy one player to play 3 positions? That's the cheap route.
Yeah, I mean, too,
that's the cheap route.
Yeah, 100%. And 2, it's readable. What's plan B, commitment 4? No, the plan should be to buy the players that Conte needs in order to run his system effectively, right? Like, it's silly. It's almost like, so I drive a Land Rover. Land Rover takes premium gas, right? But all the gas stations that I have access to only have regular unleaded, right? So instead of getting premium gas, I just buy a new car. Like, why are we buying, if all we have is unleaded gas, why are we buying a car? Why did we buy a car that only takes premium? If you're not willing or you can't afford to buy premium gas, you shouldn't be driving a car that only takes premium. Right? So it's either sack Conte and get rid of them or buy premium gas. That's the only way it works, because it's not going to you put regular gas in a car that only takes premium. It's not going to run smooth. It'll run. It's going to knock. It's going to be less efficient. There's going to be more emissions. Right? The car's going to have problems. Right? So you either buy a manager that holds our low expectation, which is not top four, not winning things, right, and go forward. Ryan Mason, as Bob likes to say, right? Or you give Conte what he needs in order to run efficiently. It's not his fault that we're putting unleaded gas in a car that only takes premium. It's not.
And this is a problem I have with some of the criticism of Conte. Is people will say go to a back four. Our team isn't suited for a back four either. It's not like they'll say Emerson Royale isn't a good wing back. He's not a good fullback. Matt Doherty certainly isn't a good fullback, right? You can't play Perisic at fullback, so that means you're playing Sessegnon as a left back. Ugh.
Or Ben Davies
as left back. That's fucking terrible. Dyer is bad as in a back two. That doesn't work for him. Sanchez can't play anywhere. Davies can't play in the back two. Longley struggled when he went from the back three to the back two in Barcelona. So this is the problem. So now you're saying, why doesn't Conte do something different? That's a terrible option, right? We didn't play Dyer today, as Cube said. We played Longley. He didn't look much better. Hey, stop playing Davies. Well, then we're going to put Sanchez in there. So that's what they do. They criticize Conte for doing all these issues.
Because
that's
exactly
like we're not making bad decisions. Yeah. He's making a bad decision instead of making a worse decision.
Right. That's the whole thing. It's like he's running a marathon barefoot, and they're asking, why doesn't he run faster? Why doesn't he just chop his feet off? It's like, how is that going to help you run faster? Right. You need to give the guy shoes so we can run. Give him shoes. Don't ask him to chop his feet off just to try something different.
Yes.
Just to quickly answer.
Dietrich Kane is here. She couldn't handle Cube's positivity.
That is the worst intro you ever did.
I'm a bit tired, to be honest, so forgive me. It's been a while. I don't have the streaming energy that I normally do.
Yeah.
What's up, Dietrich?
Yeah.
My friend.
I make good analogies too. Scratches sniff.
My rival.
Hi, everyone.
How do your fingers smell, by the way?
What?
I don't know. He's got a picture here with what's his name sniffing his fingers.
What's up, everyone?
Steak.
What's up, Dietrich? What are your thoughts on today's game and all of the blowouts on everywhere and all that good stuff?
I couldn't give a shit, honestly. Honestly.
Well, you were yapping away in the group chat all day, so obviously that's not true.
Yeah, that's not true.
No, but like during the moment you're annoyed, but when you look at it, like it's the same thing every year, every season since I'm a fan since 2014. It's like a girlfriend that cheats on you; she will never stop.
Yeah.
That sounded a little too real, Dietrich.
No, never.
I just don't understand how it's like, I live in California and I can't go to the stadium, and
nobody gives a shit.
Really expected. I thought that fans at the stadium would be so much more angry. I expected like widespread booing that we would maybe hear through the TV, and I just did not see or hear any of that. And then I know that some people have been sharing that there was some chanting of Levy Out, but it was so quiet. It was like one section, like one smaller section of the stadium, and I was like, that goes to show you how split our fans are. Like, why isn't the entire stadium booing? Like, there was more booing and louder booing when it was like halftime in the Liverpool game than there was in this game.
See, Cube, that's why I get annoyed when England fans say we're the passionate, we love our club. It's all nonsense. They don't care.
There's a lot of games this season where our fan base has just been quiet.
They're
We got
drunk.
out cheered by
Honestly,
Leeds, Liverpool, Newcastle.
England,
Um,
English fans, they can suck one. Honestly, they suck. They actually
I wouldn't go
suck.
that far, but
I think it's why we also see people more so in England, right, that say that fan base isn't as Enoch out as we are on YouTube, because so many of the fans go to the game just for a day out. They don't care enough to be Enoch. They're not Enoch in. They just don't care enough about the ownership, right? They just want to have a fun 3 hours where they support their club and then go back to their job for the day. And maybe other clubs, I haven't been to enough stadiums, obviously, but we see that our fan base, or at least at the stadium crowd, obviously has a lot of those people that are there for a fun day out to watch their team, and that's it. They're fine with that. They don't need any more than having that. And booing is, you don't want to do that because you're there to have a good time. You're there to hang out and have a good time, right? And booing isn't, well, it can be fun.
That wasn't a good time.
You know what I mean? It's not.
That's not a good time.
You don't want to, yeah. So I think that's what we're seeing more and more, is that there's a large portion of our fans, and this isn't unique to Spurs. Look, there's a lot of fans in every sport, in every team, that are just there. They don't care about the minutiae enough about their club. They just want to have a fun break, right, for 3 hours of their week or their day, whatever it is.
Scott,
I mean, we did have this one here, and I don't know if you saw this on Twitter or not, but
This is nothing.
There's about 10 people, probably.
Did you guys hear Stelio's voice?
it's more than 10 people. But you know, it's better than nothing, right? And that's
No,
why.
shit.
And that's why for me it's no, because look, when this was happening last season, what was the first thing that the people at the stadium were chanting? They were chanting against Nuno, right? You don't know what you're doing, you don't know what you're doing, right? That was the first chant that came out, right? Then Levy's chant came out, right? After that, and all Sakiko. But right now nobody is like chanting at Conte, you don't know what you're doing, you know what I mean?
But it's not even in the count. It's like usually your home stadium should be a fortress. We don't hear shit. I heard Villa fans via the TV.
Yeah.
Villa stupid and like, no, away fans, they're like 8,000 at the stadium. You're telling me 8,000 over 60,000? No, over like what, 52,000 Spurs fan? Are you joking?
Well, I mean, it happened a lot this season. That's what I'm saying. That the atmosphere.
I agree with
lacking.
Dave Hotspur's comment.
Who?
Dave Hotspur.
Stadium is full of tourists. But that's because that's what Levy wants, right?
Yeah.
That's what Levy wants. That's the kind of fan that Levy wants.
I don't know.
Because
There's
they'll pay.
lots. I hate when they say that. There's lots of English people who grow up in the area who are just as indifferent as foreign fans. There's more. Like,
Yeah,
I know
but-
it's easy to say it's so many tourists. There's plenty of local, good old London lads out there who don't boo, who don't say anything about Enoch too.
Well, I had a debate on one guy on the Twitter. This guy was saying, "I'm happy the way Levy built the stadium. It's easier for the queue to go to the bathroom." That's the kind of argument I hear. I'm not even joking.
It's a great argument. Hey, look, if you've got bladder problems, maybe that's the most important thing to you at the stadium.
No. He just said that and said, "Oh, it's easier to get out of the stadium the way he built the stadium."
Levy is the biggest asset in life. The man, the myth, the legend. I love the trolling accounts. But yeah, man, it's all good.
Even if it wasn't that many people, and I know people are always going to try to minimize it, it's more than we've heard, and that's what's more important to me. Is that it's like you said, it was clear to hear. If it was just 10 people, we wouldn't be able to hear it unless it was somebody's tiny little cell phone around there. So it might not be as many as that impresses people like Scratch and Sniff, but it's good to see that there's something. It's good to see.
What? Oh.
Oh, I
Do
always
you want to
love.
know the best? Do you want to know the best way to get him out? We do like
What's
menu.
that?
We break the stadium. We break the stadium and go inside.
No,
Break
the
the
fans would
stadium,
never
go
do
inside,
that.
burn it down.
No,
Yeah.
no,
That
these
would be
fans would never do that.
evil.
No, these fans would never do
Menu.
that. Like
Trolling.
like,
LOL. I was at the 71 final. I guarantee you weren't there. I know Steve.
Man. I don't care if you know who, whatever. If you think Daniel Levy's the man, the myth, the legend, you're a troll. I don't care if you were there in 61 when we won the league. That's it. I'm fortunate enough to be a Detroit Lions and a Spurs fan. I'm sorry, Barry and Baxter. By the way, Barry and Baxter are his rabbit and dog. His or hers. I don't remember if he said he or she said their gender. I am fortunate enough to be a Detroit Lions and Spurs fan. First time in forever, Lions have cohesively from top to bottom have brought into alignment on players and scheme. It's noticeable. I don't know. I don't watch NFL. Although people tell me all the time that I need to stick to NFL instead of football.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I am a Lions fan as well. I'm not as excited about this supposed alignment, but I know lots of Lions fans are. So glad Barry is. Yeah, I hope we don't follow anything the Lions do as a NFL.
Well, I mean, the Lions haven't been good ever, so it's kind of like the city of Detroit. Like Barry Sanders was good back in the day, but even then, they were as a team didn't do much, did they?
Nope.
So, yeah. If I were to be an NFL fan, it's Kansas City Chiefs for me, because that's where I'm from originally, and I was a Chiefs fan as a kid. But if I told you I watched more than 2 or 3 NFL games a year, I'd be lying to you.
I don't know how that's possible, Will, because you're American and therefore you must love.
I know. Must
American
love the NFL,
football.
basketball,
You must
baseball.
love NFL. It's not possible for you to be an American and not absolutely love American football and, absolutely not know what soccer or football to the world actually is. It's not possible.
Levy has been decent. Let's be honest. Please tell me one decent thing Levy has done footballing wise. I don't care about his gentrification of North London. I want to know what has he done footballing wise that's been decent. I'll wait.
Because he put the emoji, so he's been sarcastic.
I would hope so. And he's smelling his own fingers, so.
Giving a decade of Eric Dyer.
But I got so annoyed. First time Dyer's benched, the biggest bum at the club. The guy that took a poop in the middle of the game against Chelsea and was still conceded 2 goals. And he wasn't there.
I get off the Blue Post sofa to protest. I protest all the time. Protest on Twitter, protest on YouTube. I don't live in London, so I can't go to the actual protests unless somebody wants to pay $1,000 for my plane ticket. I'll go right now. But everybody can do what they can do. I've been Levy Out staunchly since when, Dietrich? The ESL incident, right? So
No, me that was when we did back patch, 2015, 16 season.
Since he didn't sign anybody, we were playing at Wembley. But I'm trying to remember, like on YouTube, because we weren't, there was nobody streaming back then. So
ESL that was 2020.
That's young now. Mm-hmm.
But there's never been a time that I've been leaving. Maybe when I first started supporting the club because I didn't know better, right? And I saw,
Can I answer John Fitzpatrick?
Go for it.
How am I negative? Please just tell me how am I negative. I want what's best for this club, and which is winning trophies. If you don't want that, bro, please go support another club.
Tell me, is this Dietrich's guy a Tottenham fan? Yes, he's a Man City fan. Has to be the most negative person I've heard on YouTube. Scott's on the show tonight, so I don't know how that one works.
Scott,
Yeah.
Again, though, it's the same way. How is it negative to point out that the club isn't good enough? The results haven't been good enough.
Exactly.
I get told that I'm negative, then I point out that we finished like 6th and 7th 2 years in a row. Is that good enough? Well, no, but if you give it patient and we had this trouble and we had how is it negative to point out that we're not doing good? We lost 2-0 today. If I say we didn't play well, now that's negative. When I'll tell you what, I wish that I could be positive. I wish there were things to be positive
lose by
about.
3.
What's that?
We didn't lose by 3.
There we go.
But this was funny because I asked him a footballing thing. What has he done better? The first thing is he turned 20 million into 3 billion. Quick and fast. 20 years. That's not very fast, by the way, to turn 20 million into 3 billion. I could have done it faster than that back in 2021 with just crypto.
But even if he did that, like, okay, so what is he doing with that money though?
Right, but I mean, it's a silly argument anyway, because if he would have bought $20 million of crypto in October of 2021, he would have had more than $3 billion in a month, right?
Wait,
so it's not even that great of an investment.
World class managers, but you're about to you keep sacking them.
And what world class managers have we had besides Jose Mourinho and Antonio Conte, who the fan base said have done a horrible job and wanted out?
Yeah,
right.
Like,
Jose is a dinosaur, and Conte doesn't know what he's doing, right? So those are the world-class managers that Daniel Levy's hired. World-class players. What world-class player has Daniel Levy ever bought? None. Never. And what world-class facilities? Like I said, I don't care about the gentrification of Tottenham. I care about on the pitch. What has he done?
We have a couple world-class players, but that's because they became world-class
in
players
spite of Daniel Levy, not because of him.
They developed into that.
The world-class argument, I won't give it, because even City, they never bought like a world-class player under Pep.
Mm-hmm.
And I said City never
Aguero?
bought. No, under Pep. I said
Holland.
Actually, yeah.
Ruben Diaz.
Ruben Diaz is world class.
Player of the year right away.
No,
yeah,
but
he should. No, he's not world class, but 100 million Jack Grealish.
Other than Haaland, they haven't bought anyone that's world class.
Yeah.
Probably Edison.
Yeah, well, that was a good buy, though.
That's one more than us.
I know.
Edison.
That was a good purchase.
Edison wasn't world class. I
don't know.
But
Carl Walker was the best right back in the league.
Actually, yeah, Walker and Haaland.
Yeah, Walker was pretty close. Diaz, the center back, was pretty close to being world class when they bought him. Right, top 2 or 3.
No, I don't think he's world class.
He was at that time. Luis Diaz, at that time, he was rated as like one of the top defenders in the world. That's why they paid like a pretty penny for him.
Same with John Stones. When is that Everton?
Oh. So they've spent money, dude. They've forked out big fees for players.
But even I have a question, like, you're good at finances.
Mm-hmm.
If the club doesn't want to pay from their pocket, why not they just take a loan and just stick it only for transfers? Take a let's say $300 million loan and do it as it is.
They could.
But why they don't want to do it? And it's not going to take any credit.
Because it's like taking a loan out for anything, right? It's a depreciating asset most of the time, right? It's like a car, right? So why would you take a loan out on a depreciating asset?
Yeah, but you're not going to pay it back anytime soon. It's going to take like 20 years.
Yeah, but you wouldn't necessarily be taking it out just for the players. You'd be taking it out against the assets of the club, right? So there's some type of collateral or credit score that, right? It's either your ability to pay and or using items that you have as collateral to pay for, to put up to secure the loan. Yeah. So you're just going to be paying it out over time. They could easily do that, especially if they project that they're going to have higher revenue, say 2-3 years from now. They could easily take out a loan and do it. And to be honest with you, the owner contribution is basically similar to that. Instead of it being a loan, though, they're just giving the money they're buying more of the company, and that money's going into the company, and they're using it as it is. The fact that Daniel Levy doesn't want to pull the rest of that 50 million out, but the fact that we only have 30 million with 50 million of that still sitting in there, are they not going to pull it out? Do they not want to buy the extra pieces of the club? Why don't the owners want to buy extra, gain more credits in the club? Right?
But even we haven't spent all the money this summer, so there's technically there should be a lot more than 50 million.
Well, I mean, we don't know what else they spent it on, right? Apparently, there was that whole thing like we had to buy a new pitch or whatever because, it takes too long for the NFL thing to get set up, even though the whole reason why we set it up is because it was supposed to be done in take less than 24 hours to convert the stadium. How much time do we need? There's only, 1 or 2 NFL games at the stadium a year, if that.
Apparently, the NFL, they don't like the grass. It says it's pretty bad.
No, I'm not going to accept it. There's no reason to accept mediocrity. It's dumb. But yeah, I mean, why would we do anything like that? I just don't understand this whole. I don't know why anybody I haven't heard a good argument as to why Levy is a good footballing chairman. But
even as a businessman, he's not good.
Well, if his business was property management, right? Like if Tottenham was a property management company, which is basically how he runs us, right?
I disagree.
I would say that he's fine, right? Going out and acquiring loans, raising money to build projects, to build properties, growing a property portfolio, which is basically what Joe Louis does anyway, right? Like all the stuff he owns in Orlando and Argentina and all that stuff is all property based, right? And or experience based, restaurants, etc. Those types of things. Then yeah, I would say he would be a fine business person, right? The problem is that this is a sports team that has fans. Right, apparently hundreds of millions of fans across the world, and his job is to make that team successful. And if you're judging by that, he's been horrible, absolutely horrible. But we got trolls like the man, the myth, legend, good chairman. He's great, mate. He set everyone up for success. He can't put their shoes on for them too. Okay. But we've got Gogama here with another super chat. And this time we've got the Fox with some fans.
Yay.
And he's no.
Hi, King.
I wish they'd let the super sticker animation just come up on screen, but they don't. So we'll do the best
Gamsameyo, it means thank you.
Kamsamnida.
Kamsamnida, yeah. Kamsamnida. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can do it the foreigner way. Kamsahamnida.
Kamsahamnida. Okay.
Or you can do it. Only older Korean people like myself. I'm not Korean, but older Korean people remember this. 삼겹살 너무 좋아요.
그거 언제 배웠어요?
I can only count.
그 variety show 알잖아. 미녀들이 쓰다.
미녀들 네네.
네, 거기는 그 이탈리아에서 오는 여자 있잖아요.
아 네네네.
네, 그렇게 계속 말했잖아요. 사람이 너무 이상해가지고 그 삼겹살 너무 좋아요.
웃겨.
How do you say "will you're a prick" in Korean?
will
No.
chase up the.
I know you're lying.
No, that's what I said. It's similar, right? Chase
He
up
said
the.
similar D-tricks.
Yeah, you're a
What
prick.
is it?
Chase up the.
Chase up the.
Chase up the. Or chase up the.
Chase up the. Okay.
Chase,
Will
like
you're-
chase somebody through the woods, up, like
Chase
up in the
up.
air. Da.
Yeah, chase up.
Chase
Chase up.
up
The.
the.
hold on, the man, the myth, the legend. When you say, I'm like, wait a minute. So you're saying that the fan base gets fooled easily because they never win. That's pretty much the point. Like, Spurs never win. Spurs hasn't won anything in forever. So
Yeah, but
I think it's Stowe.
Why have we not won anything?
I think the man, the myth, the legend is Stowe.
I think it's Bob. I think it's Bob's fair.
Oh, is it Stelio?
Yeah, it's either Bob or but I think it's Stowe because if you look at the emojis,
Oh, that is still 100%. That is still.
It's
Yeah,
a Stowe
even the
emoji.
way that's how Still writes his sentence. Always there's a period. He always constructs his sentence like that. Yeah, that's Still.
Right here, like this emoji at the end, 100% Stowe. Accept it and be at peace.
Hi, Stelio.
And John Fitzpatrick, if Kevin leaves in the summer, yes, I will leave.
John Fitzpatrick is a super fan of a number of us, especially me. Loves to talk about how he's been a fan for a long time.
Did you see what he wrote?
Yeah.
Who is Stella? She sounds nice.
Big up, Stelly. But
that's why Dietrich was so upset that Kane didn't go to City. He really wanted to be a City fan. But
well, he's got
he was
Bayern
stuck
now,
with us for
coolly.
another
So.
year.
No, you can be a Bayern Munich fan, Dietrich.
I swear I just bought a Bayern jersey like not even 2 days ago. I swear to God.
Preemptive. Did you put Kane on the back of it, number 10?
No, I'll switch. If he goes, yeah, I'll put it.
It's so funny.
Even if Son leaves to Bayern, I'll buy a Son jersey.
Like, I can understand. Have you guys noticed too? That like there's a lot of Arsenal fans that are talking trash, and I get it. They're top of the league, blah blah blah.
Allow it.
So I'll give them a free pass for talking smack, right? Because we talked some smack when Jose had us at the top of the league in the middle of December. But why are Chelsea fans walking around with chess?
Actually,
like,
they're not.
seriously?
Yeah.
No, actually not.
They are though. Like in the chats and the comments, they're coming out here talking. You guys are finished. You're done. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, bro, you're an 8th. Like, we're playing bad, and we're like 8 points ahead of you. Right? 6 points ahead of you.
Imagine Sergio scoring against you.
Potter has won one. Has only won one game since October, bro.
Do you realize Potter?
Is that the Bournemouth game?
Yeah.
He's
It's
trending
because
on
they
Twitter.
know with Levy that they can talk shit and he'll never back us up, so that eventually they'll pass us again, right?
But I mean, they're talking about like Enzo Fernandez, who's had like one good tournament. He's this great player. We're signing him. He's going to change Chelsea.
He's going to flop.
Like, no, he's not, dude. You said that when you signed Sterling, Aubameyang, and who else did they sign? Koulibaly. Oh, we got Koulibaly. He's world class, baby.
Fofana.
Right, we're winning. Why do Chelsea fans have huge chests right now, or is it just idiots on YouTube?
No, Will. Honestly, like, I have a lot of Chelsea friends. Most of them, they don't have chests anymore. Now they don't have like 2 big balls. Now they only have 1. None of them, like, they're happy with what's happening with the club. Even the signings, they're not happy. Yeah.
To be fair, imagine being unhappy with Nkuku.
But even Nkuku or not, doesn't matter. You still have a Havertz. You have too many shit players.
Yep. So it's another troll that just popped up.
I don't
Spurs
think this guy is
ideology.
a
If
troll.
it
He's
weren't
been
for
on other
Levy, we
channels.
still would be a mid-table club, stuck in a dilapidated stadium in a dilapidated area. Well, before Daniel Levy, minus the 90. So the majority of the time when we were in that dilapidated stadium in a dilapidated area, we were winning leagues, winning European championships, all kinds of stuff, right? So I don't think that that's necessarily accurate. Historically, you fools don't know how lucky you are to have the most stable owners in the league. I don't. This isn't football stability, right? Our balance sheet might be accurate, but I really could care less about that. I'm not a finance fan. I'm a football fan, right? So I don't even like doing my own finances. So.
I honestly, I am a fan of profitability and finance if it leads to stability of winning trophies.
Oh, that's why I understand.
that
That's why you're.
actually-
That's why you're
if-
Sun fan. Makes sense.
So
and you're like Man City, right? You're gonna go to Man City.
I'd take Man City's owners. I'd take Newcastle's owners. I'd take
You take
Chelsea's
anyone.
owners. I'd
Yeah,
take
Bro, I would do so
Aston
much.
Villa's owners. I'd take
I
Wolves
would
owners.
create an OnlyFans if we get the Newcastle owners or the Man City owners. I'm not even joking.
What was it?
You know,
Just got pictures of Kane around the room.
I would do some dirty shit if we have these owners.
it is, but hey, they get the numbers up, so it's all good.
Just
But-
imagine every window we spend 200 million on average.
Yeah, and this is the thing too, Luke. Dude, like, where's all the money happening, right? Where's all the money going? Where's all of this money going? But we don't have any money.
We have Champions League,
Champions
NFL,
League, NFL,
concerts,
boxing,
sponsors.
all the different. You notice that we've had way more shirt sponsors, training shirt sponsors, all of these other sponsors. Spurs play, right? We're talking what? How many subscribers do they have at $5 a month, right?
Shirt sales, tickets.
But it's just Spurs play alone. Do the math, right?
At the media.
Do the math. You got 1 million. Say you have a million.
And Amazon actually.
People subscribe to Spurs play. Just 1 million.
You got the properties
Right.
as well around the stadium.
That's $5 million of profit.
Yeah, I mean, like, why? And I got into it with somebody about this before. I'm like, based off of how much profitability the club has, how much revenue comes in from the club. We are one of the clubs that is apparently financially managed, one of the best in the Prem, maybe in the country, right? And so if that's the case, then to Will's point, where is the money going? We should be buying top quality players and winning trophies. Like, I don't understand why that.
And why are Spurs not showing their financial statements?
Yeah, because they can't. They don't want to. They won't show the financial statements until after the January window, because when they do, they know the fans will crap out all over them, right? That's why they're gonna make you buy your next year's season ticket and all that stuff before they release their books, because they know that they're not in trouble. To only say that we have 30 million, it's impossible for us to only have 30 million pounds to spend in the transfer window, especially since that money's amortized over the amount of the contract.
And winning trophies, buying top quality players, which results in winning trophies. If that was the case, then we would make even more money, because the biggest fan bases are the fan bases for clubs that win trophies. Man United, Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool. Those are like the biggest fan bases in the world. And then what do? They won trophies. I literally walked into a store in California over here, and there were like some football kits, like only a couple of them. And what were they? There was a Man U one, there was an Arsenal one, and there was a Liverpool one. Why?
This is funny. What is a balanced opinion?
Well, why is it so called Spurs fans? Just because you disagree with us, what makes us not Spurs fans? Like, I don't understand.
Because they like to troll. So it's a guy talking to himself, which is pretty funny. He types this, changes YouTube's account, and then types this.
But it is. I mean,
My precious.
It is one of the talking points of the Levy-inners now, right? Oh, it's not a balance. Nobody has a balanced argument anymore because you guys.
What is a balanced argument?
It's like, if your side is wrong, then why do we need to present your wrong facts, right? Why do we need to talk about your arguments? That's the big thing, because everything now is taking away from the actual discussion.
But nobody makes
It's
balanced
an echo
arguments.
chamber. It's not balanced. You don't have both sides. First of all, anybody can come on this channel at any time. It's always open for all
Got
these
links
people
pinned
with
there
all
to the
these other
top.
sides. Come on in. But just because they
keep your
treat it
pants
as though
on.
there's two equal sides, it doesn't necessarily mean there's two equal sides. We don't have to spend as much time
But
talking about.
there's no such thing as a balanced argument.
Oh.
If you're arguing something, you're arguing a side. Right? It would be like a balanced argument is literally a contradiction. It's A and not A. It's not an argument. It's nonsense.
So if you want to say that there's people that are making arguments that are maybe can be considerate of what other people are saying and think about like that
rational.
they have some points, then that I think that is here. I mean, you can disagree with me, but I've said, and I think Will has said as well, that we don't think that Conte is completely blameless and not at fault. We've said that. I think that
Nobody's
Conte
blameless ever.
has been, he's made mistakes. I think players have made mistakes. They haven't been playing at their best. I said that already as well. So where we're at right now is it's a combined thing of all of those things together. But who's responsible ultimately for the entire club? It's the owners. It's Levy. He's the chairman. He's responsible for the club.
Responsible for everything.
If it has to do with the manager and the players, and if there's so many things that it has to do with, it's not possible that it's any one of them. It has to be all of them. And if it's all of them, then it's him because he's the big boss.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's responsible for everything, right? So
yeah, I mean, if you are the CEO, you are the president of an organization, then the health of that organization and how employees perform at that organization, it ultimately is your responsibility because you are the highest person on the totem pole. So if you think that Conte is doing a bad job or you think the players are not playing well, then that is on Levy because he is their boss.
But we have to be honest, he's not doing an excellent job this year, but it's not his fault.
what's not his fault?
No, I just have an issue, the way he's using Son. I don't agree with it. The way he's using Kane too, I would rather see Kane dropping deep, spraying passes, Son making the runs. He's not doing that. And not his fault because we have a shit defense.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I agree. But here, this is the thing, right? And people keep making dumb arguments and dumb excuses. I heard the other day when I was driving home, and I commented sometimes, people were saying well, he signed, 5 of the 6 players that he signed were his players, and he's playing those 5, right? So he signed more players for himself. And he's utilizing those players. And part of utilizing those players was adjusting the system a little bit, right? And that's what we're seeing with Son and Kane's roles slightly change. He had to rely, because we had a even thinner squad last season, we had to depend. We couldn't really play the way that he wanted to play. So we had to adjust last season because we didn't have the gaps there. Now we have these players that we've spent money on, right? Perisic, which we signed for free, didn't cost us nothing, by the way. So I don't know why people moan about him other than his wages. Basuma, who everyone, right, including Sava, said was a good signing, right? Has he been playing well this year? No, but was he a good signing? Yes. Richarlison, right? Maybe you can moan and complain about because of the amount that it cost us, right? He already said he didn't. It's like people want to throw the players that Conte is actually utilizing. Like I said before, Basuma has started 8 games and played almost as many games as Son.
No, but let's be honest. If we had someone else let's say Cassie or Amrabat, Bissouma would never start. Or would never play.
He'll start over Amrabat.
He
No,
would
you would.
start
I said Amrabat was a good midfielder last January when we were linked with him, and everybody laughed at me, including you, Dietrich, and you're Moroccan.
No, okay, let's be honest. He was shit in the past. This World
He
Cup,
wasn't.
this World Cup, he was amazing. So I'm not
He
gonna
wasn't
argue.
though.
I still don't rate him.
No, he is
Now,
miles better
is
than
he going to
Højbjerg.
change? Did he play? Has he been playing better than Højbjerg recently? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, 100%.
But is he better than Højbjerg like over
Yes.
time? Maybe
Yes.
not.
Yeah.
Yes.
He is. I'm not even joking.
Højbjerg
Højbjerg is so bad. Højbjerg is so bad on the ball. He is so bad. Did you see his passes?
Just went out.
Did you see his passes today? The way he was.
He was probably our worst player today.
The way he wanted to do long balls. This guy is not good. Except making runs and running. He is shit. And scoring goals.
Okay, you guys, I mean, I don't know, you Spursy ideology, the man, the myth, legend, then you can come on. You're saying it's the panel is an echo chamber, everybody is, all, trash and everything, then come on.
As long as you wear pants.
You can be the different opinion if you want.
They
Come
usually block you.
I don't block anybody.
Yeah, Will barely blocks anyone.
As long as you don't make racist or xenophobic attacks on people, I don't block anybody.
You are literally not blocked, and that's why you're continuing to talk.
Yeah,
you're
that's why
continuing
we can
to
see
act,
you is because
so
you're not
you
blocked.
obviously
You
are not
weirdo.
come on and help with this apparent echo chamber and state your opinion instead of hiding there, we're not letting you talk. We are clearly allowing you to talk. We're even responding to you. We're reading what you're saying.
Well, I'm not gonna mention names, but I've heard I think 2 days ago, one of the funniest arguments in the world, and that was the Richarlison's son having a better season.
Oh, you mean that argument? Yeah,
I'm not gonna mention names.
I'll mention name. Hasper TV. That guy's an idiot.
That was the funniest.
I don't care if people look. I don't like people who gaslight people. Okay, gaslighting for me is a big no. Right? To lie intentionally in order to make somebody doubt reality is probably the most disgusting thing that a human can do. Let's put it that way. When men do it to women, it's disgusting. I think it's worse than physical abuse. I would rather, I can't speak for all people, but I personally would rather get punched in the face than somebody lie intentionally to make me doubt my sanity.
So can I punch you in the face?
Yeah. I'd rather get hit in the
Do
face.
it. Body.
Because pain is temporary. Psychological abuse is permanent.
You said that debate was 2 days ago. I'm going to have to go back and look for it. It sounds like it was a good
It was on the Friday night show.
Friday night show, yeah.
Sounds like it might have been a good one.
Yeah.
Now, when he said that was one of the... I could just see Will is typing.
I was driving too. I almost got in an accident.
Wait, which show was this? This is Friday night show, you said?
Yeah, Friday night show.
You were going against who? What?
I was in the comments.
arguing against Haz.
Oh.
Scott was arguing against Haz.
Oh.
Ibon Kumura.
And Will was in the
Oh, I missed it because I don't know if you saw that when Haz joined. I left.
Yeah, it was right after you left.
Yeah, it
must
have been after I left because I left right when he joined.
It was.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
He said Richie has a better season than Son.
Oh, that must have really pissed Will off.
No, then we said, but he has 0 goals, Son has 3. He said, if you look the amount of games, it's a bit unfair.
No, so so the guy, I'll just do an argument because it's the normal bullcrap argument, right? It's Richarlison's been better than Son this season. So when we look at the league, they're like, yeah, but Richie hasn't played that many minutes. So they're like, and then they also bring in all competitions because they got to use the 2 goals that he had in the Champions League. Otherwise, in the 1 assist. Otherwise, he got nothing, right? But like 2 assists in the league. Then so when you bring in all competitions, right? You're looking at Son's at about 1,500 minutes, and Richarlison's at about 800 minutes, 900 minutes, right? And when you take the goals, then you have Son's got 5 goals when you go into all competitions, and Richarlison's only got 2. And so he was like, yeah, but when you take into account the minutes, Richarlison's been better than Son. It's a fact. It's black and white. And I'm like, you moron. Can't you do math? 1,500 divided by 5 is better than 800 divided by 2. It's not even better per minute. Right? Son has scored more frequently per minute than Richarlison has. His goals per minute are higher than Richarlison's by almost a full 100. It's like 318 to 390 something. 385 or whatever it was. It's like, yeah, but then you got to go by minute. And I'm like, per minute is what? You knob. Per minute. That's what it's based on.
Okay, no need to insult the guy.
I will insult the guy. Because when someone gaslights you to say that you're wrong, right, that's not reality, right, and they lie about reality, they're being a knob. Who does that? Who intentionally lies about facts in order to further their narrative and to convince you to think that what you know to be true is actually false? Who does that?
Are you sure? Are you sure he just doesn't really like he? You sure he's gaslighting, or he just like really?
No, he knows because I provided him the information, right?
Yeah, but he could just see what he sees. Like it might not be like actual like because gaslighting is like if somebody knows,
yeah,
that they know that.
No, I don't think he knows. I don't think
wrong.
he knows.
But I feel like he might not know it's wrong. Like he actually just believes something else. Like
right, but when I say this is per minute, and he's like,
not believe the fact.
Right. When I say this is per minute, right, and I show him the numbers, right, and then he continues to say, Richarlison has better numbers than Son per minute, right, and I've already showed him that that's not the case. If he continues to double down on that, that's gaslighting. Because now he knows, right? If you're ignorant to the facts, then you can say, okay. But when the facts have been presented to you and then you continue to do it, like a confirmation bias is a form of gaslighting, right? Because you've been presented the facts, you reject those facts, and you continue to present incorrect information in order to convince your opponent that you're talking to that the actual reality is not reality and your reality is the truth.
So you're basically saying the entire QAnon organization are gaslighters.
Yeah, they are. Right? Like you're exactly right. Alex Jones, when he says that the Sandy Hook thing didn't happen, right, is gaslighting people. He's trying to convince normal people that reality didn't happen. That's gaslighting. Absolutely. Absolutely, they're gaslighters. If you propagate just like and then on the flip side, you know, MSNBC and CNN, when they all said that Trump said drink bleach, because he never said that in that way, and they act as if that's the reality that happened, they're gaslighting. Absolutely, 100%. Right, that's 100% gaslighting. Intentionally lying.
I just remember getting into it with Hesper quite a lot in regards to specifically Son having that corner kick with a flick on, like Perisic flicked it on to Kane to score. I think it was maybe the Chelsea game or something, or maybe Southampton. I don't remember, but one of those games, early games in the season, and him being convinced that it was actually not a tactic, and that Son messed up that corner kick, and that Perisic saved his ass, and through Perisic saving his ass with that flick-on header, that Kane scored the header goal
against Wolves.
Maybe it was that one. I don't remember anymore.
Yeah, that was a tactic.
Yeah, that was what it was. Yeah, and it was a tactic, and Hasper was absolutely saying that it was Son messing up the corner kick, the free kick. And I was like,
Right, even
no. And then
Decky came out and said it was a
and Ali Gold confirmed it. Multiple players confirmed it, and he was like, that's what they're gonna say, because they're gonna cover up the fact that it was a mess, it was a mistake, and so they want to just cover for Son.
Right, and once you present him with that information, rather than acknowledging it and saying, okay, but I still think, right? It's always I still think da 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 da, and that's fine. That's not gaslighting. That's just your opinion. You're allowed to have wrong opinions. I don't have a problem with people having wrong opinions as long as they don't state them as fact. But when they try to deny, no, that didn't happen. You're dumb. Cubed, you're so dumb. Ha 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 ha. Little laughs. Ha ha ha. You're so dumb for believing the truth.
Cube,
you don't even know how dumb you are. Ha ha. You're so dumb.
Yeah, no.
Right? When they belittle you for actually believing reality, that's gaslighting. 100% gaslighting.
We got into a pretty big argument back and forth about
sure,
that specifically, and then he also was very adamant about him knowing the truth of it, and that it was indeed a Son mistake, because he was there. He was at the stadium and he saw it with his own eyes. And my response to that was like, well, I saw it with my own eyes in 4K.
That's right. I saw it in 4K on an 81-inch TV.
With replay,
in slow motion
and from multiple angles. So
no, you don't have to be smart. You can just see the way Perisic ran. Like, that's tactic. It's not a mistake.
Yeah, but I mean, even that. But the problem is you have players that literally came out and accredited the set piece coach.
Yeah, he needs to raise.
Yeah, it's it's literally the only way that it could come out even better was if Harry Kane came out himself and said that we practiced that on the pitch, on the training ground. Like that's the only way that you could be more certain of it, right?
I don't think that he would have taken
Shamu,
that as fact either, because he would have said that like Kane was like covering for Son.
Yeah, I want to talk to Shamu about this thing too, because he's getting. I guess Shamu's a fan of Haz's, and he says, "Who cares? LOL. If it bothers you so much, why are you insulting other fan of the same club going to achieve?" Because gaslighting other fans from the same club, right, is even worse. Right, it's harmful. It's literally psychological abuse. So why shouldn't I call a psychological abuser and a person who doesn't intentionally, right, their own pride, their own narcissistic tendencies, prevent them from actually acknowledging reality when shown? Why should I not call that person a knob?
CQ, you're a knob.
For the record, I wasn't. Unless I wasn't insulting Hesper in other ways. I literally was just retelling a story of when I was going back and forth with Hesper about this specific thing. So I'm recounting an event that took place where I was in disagreement with him and going back and forth with him about a very specific thing.
I don't ever call anybody an idiot for having a wrong opinion. Okay. There are idiotic opinions, and then there are idiotic people who are idiots, who intentionally, right, remain in a cognitive dissonance. Okay. When you're doing it intentionally, what's wrong with calling a spade a spade? Right? The word idiot has a meaning. It means a fool. Right? If you are a fool, what's wrong with calling you a fool? Because it's not nice? I'm not interested in being nice. Personally. I have to say. Is it is?
You see, you're gaslighting. He's not a
Well, there you go. So Shamu's not a fan of Hasper. So I still understand why you're defending them then, right?
I'm not attacking him.
Me too.
I am attacking him. I am attacking him.
Will might be attacking him, but I'm just saying I am not attacking him.
Because he deserves it.
I'm not saying that I specifically am. I'm just saying I'm recounting something that happened between us where I was getting into it with him on stream or in the chat about a Sun Corner. And I'm recounting what happened in that regard. We disagree a lot, though. Me and Hasper do disagree quite a lot.
I'm guessing Scott has to go.
I'll just say it quick. Good night to everyone. It's always fun. Glad to be back on. Hopefully I can be on
Great to see you
in the future, even with Dietrich. But Gogama, awesome. C-Cubed, awesome. Steak, awesome. Will, awesome. Dietrich.
Scott, your head is so funny. I saw it.
He shaved it in solidarity with Levy.
That's right.
Scotty Chino has now become.
I shaved my beard, although it's grown back somewhat.
Scott Levy now.
Yeah, I'm Levy in now. Levy in, Conte out, Son out, Kane out, Romero out, out. Dyer
in. Emerson in.
Bring back Winks. He's going to be the captain. So, good night, all.
Good night.
Miniesta.
I forgot to say, especially Hoiberg again for him.
I want to wrap up the Hasper talk. So if you notice the way that, like, for example, me and Alex had a bust up on Henry's channel one time, only because I had been fed up with the way that he was speaking to me for a while. He explained after the fact that he didn't know, right? He wasn't doing it intentionally. I then accepted his apology, and we're fine. We were on the show earlier today. Didn't have any problems, right? The difference between Alex and Has is that once Alex realized, right, that what he was saying or doing could have been interpreted in a certain way, even if that's not the way that he intended, he stopped and he apologized. Has intentionally does it more in order to get a response out of you. That's why I go after that. So if I saw a man beating his wife, I would say something. If I saw a man emotionally abusing his wife, I'm going to say something. If I see people on stream emotionally abusing other people on stream, I'm going to say something. Right? I think
you never said that for me against CQ.
I mean, well,
she doesn't emotionally abuse you. That's why.
Yes, she does.
All of us. He's emotionally abusing all of us by saying something.
No, I have to stand up for it. I have to. Because it's wrong. And I would do it for anyone.
It's wrong, Dietrich. Stop emotionally abusing me, Dietrich.
And people can call me a bully if they want to, because I'm not bullying. Bullying a bully is not bullying, in my opinion.
You're a bully. Well,
you're too tall. You're too bully little people.
You're too tall. You can't. You have to be a bully because you are that tall.
Is it me or Will looks like a giraffe?
No.
I am tall. Mari knows how tall I am now.
I know you're crouching down to like take that video.
And Mari's 6 foot.
Yeah, Mari's 6 foot? Wow.
Yeah, so he says.
He doesn't look like he's 6'4". He looks like he's 5'10".
Yeah, exactly 5'10".
Oh.
I'm 6'5".
No way, 6'4".
He was
no
so at the soccer field. He was standing on a sewer drain that was about 3 or 4 inches shorter than where I was standing on the grass, maybe 2.5, 3 inches shorter. So he was on a little bit of a slope down. So that's why his head came up to about my shoulder. But I don't have a huge head, to be honest with you. So
how tall is your wife?
My wife is. So 165 centimeters, so in inches, that's what, 5'4", 5'5"?
Okay. I was just like expecting, I was like, okay, what is she? She must look tiny next to you.
Yeah, I'm about a foot taller than her.
Yeah.
An inch foot taller.
Oh my gosh.
So.
That's a good pairing.
If I ever met you, you could just like, you probably like just smash me. Like, because it's just just like with one. Not like that. No, I mean like like Donkey Kong, like one hand, you just kind of like, because I'm just so much shorter than you, 5'2".
CQ just lost
So
fuck
I would just be like, you would just be I would look like little Vixen next to you. Like,
But
I would look like
5'2" is
a
not
little-
that short. I've dated
What?
girls 5'2" before. It's not that bad. Just
I would-
give you
I
a
would-
hug, you'd come up
child.
like right here, you know?
I would
Actually,
look
they're
like
not
a
good at
child
height.
to you, is what I'm saying. be like,
5'2" not that
"Oh,
short.
he has that
I
child."
personally like.
You're 5'2"?
Yeah, I'm 5'2".
Oh.
So I would.
So you have the
like,
same height as my mom.
next to him.
Me personally, for me, I think my preference is 5'2" to 5'7". I tend to not date people over 5'7". Sorry, tall girls. I know it's not fair. You have a hard time finding guys that that are taller than you, and the tall guys all like short chicks. But it's just how nature works, right? You got to balance out. Because if I were to marry a 6 foot tall girl, I mean, how tall would our kids be? It would be bad. So, nature's got to find a way of balancing itself out.
So in a way, you just go, see a
How-
girl, you take a ruler, then you say, "Oh, if you're 5'8", nah, it's not gonna work."
No, I
I
mean,
bet
it's
Dietrich is
eyeballed.
like 4'8".
It's eyeballed.
He's tall, isn't he?
Dietrich
no,
is
I'm-
probably 4'8" because he's got short man syndrome.
That's fine. Actually, touche.
How tall are you, Dietrich?
6'1".
Okay, he's not tall. He's not short. I mean,
Wait,
short compared to me. But he's-
158인가요? 158? Is that 158? 160?
누구요?
CQ. 160이죠.
오,
She's
이면
157. 157.
300가
157?
7,
Yeah.
165 minus 7.5 is what? One.
Yeah, I think 157, 158. I'm similar to you then.
Yeah, but you're like so much tinier than me.
My mom,
So
my mom is 5'1".
Goguma is tinier and sweeter and just a
No.
much more beautiful, wonderful
No.
person. And I am like
I don't know what you look like, so I can't
I'm-
verify that is true or not.
I'm like the evil sister, the evil twin evil
No,
sister
you
to
be-
Goguma's light.
I've seen her before. We all saw her.
I
What's
didn't
that?
see her.
Her presence. Hmm.
So anyway, Will, how did you find a bed?
Well, most queen size beds are longer than 77 inches, which is how tall I am.
How did you find a bed? How do you walk
Chilio.
through doors? Well, how do
Yeah,
you walk
what
through
the fuck do you
doors?
do?
Yeah.
How do you find cars to sit in?
Pek 57.5 is how tall.
How do you get in a plane?
How does your head not get hit by Emerson's crossing in the stadium?
Yeah, being tall is a good thing though. I'm always jealous. of
I
tall
don't have an ego.
No, it would be sick being tall, but 6'5", that's way too much.
I'm too logical to have an ego.
That's too.
I don't know,
6'5".
man. I feel like Will does have an ego.
No, I'm
Some
just
ego.
honest, and I'm honest even about myself, which some people find as being brash, right? So, for example, I know how tall I am. I know how big my D is. I know
That's what I was
my
getting
look.
at, because you
Yeah.
had said that in the group chat, and you were like, I was like, what the hell?
Well, I mean, I'm 6'5" and I wear a size 14 shoe. I have big hands, big feet. It'd be kind of weird if I had a little wiener, wouldn't it? Things tend to be proportionate, right?
How did you not kill your
If you
wife?
if you had giant hands, good question. If you had giant hands and a size 6 shoe, that would be really weird. How would you walk? You couldn't. You'd fall over, right? So simply stating that you're larger than normal isn't an ego. It's a fact.
Why is that a fact that you need to state though?
I don't state it unless it's pertinent to the conversation that I'm having.
Was it pertinent to the conversation?
Because she's obviously not with me for my money, and if it's not because of my looks, like you insinuated, then what else would it be?
Yeah, that was pretty disrespectful. See, or your wife is
It was
amazing. How did
definitely
you?
pertinent. You know.
Yeah, that was a fucking.
For people that don't realize, I posted pictures when we were in Cancun of my wife and I in the YouTube group chat, And
That was me.
Cube said my wife was way too hot for me, that I had dated up. And so I'm not a rich guy. I mean, I'm not poor, but I'm not rich. And so if it wasn't for my looks, then what else would she have picked me for? If it's not my personality and it's not my looks, what else would she have picked me for? So I said the big D. You know what I mean? So,
and then he.
But honestly,
proceeded-
she doesn't. That's definitely not why, because she doesn't appreciate that as much as some could or have in the past.
and then for the record, then Will proceeded to, for a long time after that, prove to me that he was all the years of how good looking he was. Sending pictures of, like, you know, what he looked like at different stages of his life and how he looked versus his wife at different stages of his life.
See, you have to see Will when he was 17 or 16. You just see a little chubby with like like the typical like Cancun necklace. You in high school.
When did you see a picture of me in high school?
You showed it.
Yeah,
once.
you did send a picture.
You like there was you and like two other people, and you just see chubby like.
Oh no! That was at the bar with my hand like this around my friend with the puka shell.
Yeah.
That was actually when I was 22.
You were so chubby.
Yeah. I was a little chubby then. But it was. So I was a very weird metabolism. For whatever reason, I was an absolute stick in high school, right? Like maybe 165, 170 pounds soaking wet. But remember, I'm 6'3", 6'4" at that time, right? In high school.
I thought you were gonna say I was a very weird guy.
No, very weird metabolism.
No shit.
But and so, then I filled out, right? So but then I went to boot camp when I was 20. That's the picture of me in my uniform with a thinner face. A lot of activity, right? Then when I got to my first permanent duty station, that's out of training. So you have military and basic training, and then you have your job training. And during that time, you have to run, you have to do all of this stuff, right? Every day, right? You don't have an option, a choice. PT every day, all that stuff. In the Air Force, back in the day, now it's a little bit different. I think they recommend it every day, but as long as you were in your weight requirements, you didn't have to do PT. Okay, so I went from running every single day and eating a ton, right? 3,000 to 4,000 calories a day, to sitting in a chair for 12 hours, not running at all, and still eating 3,000 to 4,000 calories a day, and then drinking every night on top of that, right? So I gained a little bit of fluff. Wasn't fat though. I never had like a belly, but I thickened out, right? Arms, chest, just like the bone structure. I thickened out between 21 to 23, 24. Then I got thin again. I dropped down to like 175. That's like if you see that picture with me and my son in the 2010 World Cup in the stadium, and my face just looks completely like I thought I had cancer. That's how thin I was. But I was eating I'm not even joking. But I was eating the same as I always had, right? And yeah, I mean it was bad. And then I got into fitness because my wife complained that I didn't have muscles. Right? I was skinny fat, so real skinny arms and So I went to the gym and I bulked up a little bit. And it's hard for me. You see pictures of me lifting and stuff like that. I don't look like I have a whole lot of muscle, but you got to remember I'm 6'5", right? So even right now I weigh 212 pounds. So
you're 212.
Yeah, I was about 228 before I started working out this roundabout. So
wait,
I'm
what's
down.
skinny fat? What is skinny fat?
So skinny fat is when it's more of a men type of thing. So men are skinny fat. So if you have low muscle mass, say a body fat percentage of 20%, you'll look skinny, right? But you don't have muscles, right? So you don't have the body weight. So I could be 175, still have a little pooch, a little fluff down the belly, not any muscle in their arms, chubby in my face, right? But that's because I have a high body fat percentage and low muscle mass. So that's what we call skinny fat. You're skinny because you're not big, right? But you're carrying a high percentage of body fat, right? So that's skinny fat.
That girls are like that too, though. There's plenty of girls that are skinny fat. Like they got no muscle on them. They look lean, but they actually have no muscle on them. And they're technically, based off of their BMI, obese. There's plenty of girls like that. So,
but it tends to be more natural. Women tend to carry higher percentage of body fat than men do anyway. Like a woman at 15% body fat looks super skinny compared to a man at 15% body fat, right? Like women just carry fat better because I think it's where they carry their fat at that body percentage, say their hips, their ass, their face tends to be appreciated more, their chest, right? I mean, if you're a woman and you're at single percent body fat percentages, you have no chest, right? Because the chest is made of fat. That's what it's, that's what it is. That's where you hold fat. So yeah, I mean, I think women, when you look at women that are in single percent, if they can even get to single percent body fat percentages, they just look. That's why like a woman at 30% is similar to a man at 20, right? So, I think, yeah, men. I don't think I'd ever call a woman skinny fat. I would just say that you're, thin without muscles. I don't know, which is what skinny fat is. But.
So diplomatic. Yeah. he's all being diplomatic right now. Like
no, I'm not, because I just said women can be skinny fat too. I just don't
muscles.
I would say a woman's thin, right? She's not fit. There's a difference between you can be thin and not fit, like physically fit, in my opinion.
When I went to the gym and they said I'm 20%, I was depressed.
Yeah, dude, I'm like, my scale upstairs in my room where it says I'm 23% body fat right now. And that's now.
I'm 20%.
I was 25, 26% before. But my little handheld thing says I'm 16. So I don't know which one's right. I need to go get a good DECA scan or something, but I don't really want to pay $100.
I have 95 pounds of muscles. So
I have 156 pounds of muscle.
Yeah, because you're 6'5", you giraffe.
You giraffe.
But yeah, no, I mean, so that was probably the chubbiest that I was at in that period, and that was just like but I didn't have a belly then. Like, there's a difference between that belly fat at 35 and that belly fat at 20. You know what I mean?
But belly fat, it's sick. It's better than abs. Not even joking.
Yeah. Because like I didn't have a belly, like my belly didn't protrude, but I didn't have a six pack, if you know what I mean, right? And I carry a lot of weight in my face. First places I gain weight and the first place I lose weight is in my face. Like if you notice that when I started working out again, my face got a lot longer, just really quick. That's where I hold a lot of weight. I hold a lot of weight in my thighs, and then my midsection, obviously.
William, you lost so much weight too.
Yeah, my body fat percentage went down about 2 to 3%. I've been off my diet for about 2, because I didn't diet in Cancun. I didn't diet when I was on my trip with my son, so I've been off my diet for about 2 weeks. I've actually lost weight. The scale said I was 212 today. But I think I've lost muscle because I also haven't worked out in 2 weeks. So
for the record, everybody, Will, you made me sound like such a bitch by calling you.
No, you were joking.
That your wife is.
I hope you were
way
joking.
Too hot for you, but it's not like I was saying you were fugly. Basically, what I'm saying is that every time, whenever I see a couple, I always say that the chick is way too.
I figured that's
no,
what
honestly,
they should be.
I'll say it to Will's face, no offense, your wife is on another level than you. Honestly, I never knew your wife would be so hot to this point. No offense, like not in a weird way.
That's not creepy at all, Dietrich. You're like
well-
checking out his wife. What? See,
So
knew you
I
were
do.
a
Is my wife attractive? Yes, I think my wife is
Hell
attractive.
yes, she is.
Am I allowed to post anything other than? Am I allowed to share anything other than pre-approved photos with anyone? No. Right.
Oh fuck. Will.
So the best angles, best lighting, best representation of herself in her own mind are the only pictures I'm allowed to share with people. The other ones get deleted off my phone without my consent. So there are, but anyway, no, but is my wife attractive? Yes, my wife is attractive. I don't think she's outside of my scope.
Oh yeah,
But,
she is.
yeah. But I would get in very much trouble if I said she wasn't the prettiest girl that I've ever been with. So she is.
or that you've ever seen, or that is in life.
No, I mean she's not that. She's not possessive at all. So I wish she was a little bit more possessive. I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
But, I'm an open book, dude. You guys know me. I'm honest all the time, dude. It doesn't. Look,
he's like I'm honest all the time, and he's like in a panel just like with people with none of us have our camera on, and he's like, and then we're like, yeah, we understand.
I had spaghetti arms.
I've just been in the private chat the entire time. Now I see donuts in the chat.
So Ego FC bench pressed 295 pounds ages ago. You do 95 ever? Yeah, I've benched 195. I can bench 195 right now.
195. That's easy.
2 plates is what I used to rep. So 215, right? It's 215. 195. I used to, but I don't. I'm not a competitor, so I don't go out in 1 rep max to hurt myself. But I have back in
295.
Back in, I don't know if I could do 2. Well, I don't know what's the RIM for 8 reps with 215. Let's see.
295. That's like what?
1
4 plates?
RM calculator. Lift. 215 repetitions, 8 to 10. Calculate 1 rep max. 286 is what it says my 1 rep max would be. So that's close to 295. Can I? Yes. I guess I weigh 212 pounds. You don't think I can bench 195 at a time? I'm sorry. That's not a lot for my size. Like, that's silly.
Boy, no,
Right. If I was 5'10" and I weigh my normal weight, right, at say 15% body fat with no muscle, completely untrained. If my normal weight, body weight, untrained, was 150, then yeah, maybe 195 would be something I can't work. But my untrained weight is 175, 180, right? My untrained weight. So, yeah, 70-pound dumbbells, repping them out is easy. That's what 140, and dumbbells are harder than benches. So, yeah, that's nothing, right? That's not ego either. But I can tell you're just a troll, though. So that's all good. Because you were a big nut back then. Yoga is better for you. I like yoga. If you're not doing yoga, then you're not working out.
I don't do yoga.
You should. Mobility is very important for muscle health.
I do boxing.
Not really mobility though. Boxing's more cardio.
No,
I like
kickboxing.
Pilates.
And swimming too. Swimming for me is my yoga.
Yeah, swimming is kind of anaerobic, aerobic at the same time. We both. Yeah. You should be doing flexibility training. Yoga is really good for that, for joint health. It's probably one of the best things you can do for joint health, tendon health.
people, it feels weird doing yoga in front of everyone.
Why? You go to a gym with your, legs spread wide open with your balls hanging out of your shorts doing bench press, but you can't do yoga? I mean, that's kind of weird.
Look at Eugene's comment.
I do eating and driving. There you go.
Hi, Eugene. That's a good workout, Eugene.
But no, you should at least be able to bench your body weight, I think.
Some people, they can't.
That's because they're untrained, right? But anybody who's worked out for a year can bench their body weight. I've never met anybody who's worked out for a year.
I'm not even joking. My friend is 6'2".
Yeah.
Works out a lot more than me. He can do any dumbbells, but when it comes to 2 plates, he cannot do it. He can only do 1 rep.
But yeah, how often does he do that exercise? Because he may just be untrained on that exercise.
No, every time.
Every time.
Every time. He just can't do it.
He benches regularly and he can't.
No, he can only do 45 and 35, but 2 plates, he can't.
And how much does he weigh?
How much does he weigh?
Yeah.
Close to like 240.
Really?
And he's not fat. At all.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just got bad chest genetics, Sometimes that happens. Like I can almost curl. I can curl 1 plate. I can curl 135. Easy.
I don't know.
Like for whatever reason, my biceps, I watch guys that are twice my size and they're like curling 25s and 35s. I can't do that.
He curls 60 easily.
Yeah. So he's probably similar in the fact that he's got really good arm genetics, but his chest, normally if your arms are really strong, your chest doesn't have to work as hard, right?
Yeah.
So that's what with me, like 215, I haven't really gone higher than that. Between 8 to 10 reps on 215 is what I had done at my peak. Like I can't rep 215 now. I could probably get 215 once right now. But back in the day when I really was working out 2 hours, 6 days a week, right? 2 hours a day, 6 days a week. And I could probably get there soon. But right now I'm doing 70-pound dumbbells, with regular dumbbell presses. No problem.
No, that's easy.
And butterflies, for whatever reason, I'm the weirdest person. I can butterfly like 300 pounds, right? Like on the machine.
Yeah, that's not hard.
But bench press, I can't do half that. I don't know why I can, which is more of a chest isolation exercise. For me, it used to be that my triceps were really weak, but I've fixed that now, so I have decent triceps. Yeah. I think that's it for tonight. Where are you guys going to be next? What are you doing? We got a game on Wednesday.
Crying. We'll lose 3-0, 2-0.
Yeah. What do you got going on? Gogomanin, what do you got going on this week?
Well,
Steak.
well, resting.
Just resting?
Too much party. Google.
No, I can't.
Miss Cubed, what do you got going on this week? Where are you going to be?
Curled up in a ball, depressed that I'm a Spurs fan suddenly. But anyways, I don't know. I will be
Friday show
now for the family. But I will be going back to Oakland, and then I will be avoiding the Spurs community as much as possible.
So no Friday show this week?
We'll see.
We'll see.
I mean, have you noticed I actually haven't really been streaming much? It's because the fan base. Yeah, look at everybody. It's become pretty toxic, and I need to find some level for my own sanity to detach sometimes.
It's not even toxic. It's just boring talking about the same shit.
Yeah, that too.
That's why it's really hard for me to when I come. That's why it's like sometimes my shows delve off into other topics because it's like I go on Henry's show for 3 hours and then what am I going to come talk about here? The exact same thing? No, I mean it's like,
It's every time the same talk. Conte, bored, Conte, bored, Conte,
Son board.
Son, these fans are idiots. They don't know, they gaslight. Same talk.
That's why I like the fights. I like the fights.
C
Fights make some
cube.
people nervous, but I like them.
C-Cube going on rants.
Yeah.
C-Cube feeling
Will's
like
ugly, but his wife's hot. You know,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
아니에요.
We're not supposed to be-
잘생겼어요, 윌님.
감사합니다. Say Gogo. I'm gonna say Gogo on you, Cubed, if you keep calling me
CQ
ugly.
does stuck at the airport. CQ does that. CQ goes to Oakland.
Don't hate G-Trix.
They
Well, I'm
lost
better
her
looking than
luggage.
Ryan Mason, so I'm happy about that. I
맞아요.
love that.
Eugene is quite stuck in the middle of the road.
He just finished his lunch.
No, Eugene's car is all fixed now, right, Eugene? It's all fixed.
Spicy fried chicken. Is it Korean fried chicken? Because if it's not, then it's no good. But, Korean, by the way, people don't know this, but Koreans make the best fried chicken in the world.
That's a fact.
It's so good, Korean chicken, Korean fried chicken, with the yangmyeon and all the other stuff. I like the boneless one though, personally, but that's just because I don't like bones.
Do you like spicy, 윌님?
Sure, I love spicy food.
There's one thing I
Nazi
love
bokum is my favorite.
I love this thing called goat chain, something like that. Goat chain. I don't know how to say it.
Burmese
like
fried chicken. I've never had
It's like
Burmese
a-
fried chicken.
It's like a ketchup, Korean ketchup. It's so good.
What? Korean ketchup?
No,
What?
it's like gochujang. I don't know how to say it.
고추장. 윌님.
Oh, gochujang.
Gochujang, yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh, that's
gochujang is
okay.
not ketchup.
Yeah, it looks.
You put that on a hamburger. No.
No, it looks like
Don't
ketchup.
want to do that. So gochujang literally means pepper paste, right? So it is a red, kind of like a Thai pepper. If you're in the United States, and you're
Yeah.
looking for peppers. It's different. It's a Korean pepper, but it's in the same family as a red Thai pepper, dried, made into a powder, and then made into a paste, right? So Korean gochujang, there's actually big giant. I think there's a thing on Netflix on it with a show with Yoo Jae-suk that's like a Korean #1, and they go to all these masters. And anyway, the whole thing of making gochujang is like a UNESCO national heritage thing. So twinjang and gochujang. So
So good.
twinjang is bean paste. It's made from soybeans, and
That
gochujang
I'm
is made
cute.
from peppers.
That
And kanjang is soy sauce. It's what they call soy sauce. So
Yes, it's good.
there's many, many, many types of gochujang. So
Alex, who eats chips at 6 a.m.?
my favorite, I do like gochujang, but the best thing for me is samjang. So samjang is kind of a mix of garlic,
Steak.
doenjang, gochujang, sesame seed oil, all kinds of stuff. Right?
Boy, it's
Um,
almost 7 a.m. and you're eating chips.
What? It's not 7 a.m. Oh, for steak, you mean?
For
Yeah,
steak.
stay.
I like samjang with any meat. Most Koreans only eat samjang with like samgyeopsal or something like that. I eat it with every meat. Beef, pork, chicken. I'm like a samjang freak. I love samjang.
Samjang.
Yeah. Yeah, Will's ego will block you. When you're not blocked there, stay calm, big boy. So yeah.
I went to a
Korean food
Korean
is good.
restaurant and it was disgusting.
No,
In
no, you're
Ottawa.
you're about to get blocked right now if you talk about Korean food being
What?
No. In Ottawa, no, in Ottawa, it wasn't good. It just wasn't good.
What kind
there
of
may be a bad one, but
It was a bad one.
Korean food in general is not disgusting.
No, it looks good. Even I saw a clip with Son is taking one of his friends to a Korean restaurant in London. It looks so good.
Korean food is the best food in the world.
Chill.
No, sure, it's better than Japanese food, better than Thai food, better than Indian food.
You cannot beat sushi.
Yeah, you can.
No,
Steak
sushi's the
beats everything.
sushi's the
Korean Korean barbecue is way better than any other barbecue.
no. Turkish barbecue is the best.
No, I don't know. I've never had Turkish barbecue, to be honest with you. so
Oh,
I
you should
can't tell.
try. You should try.
Do they sell those sauces at a Korean grocery store? Absolutely, they sell those sauces at Korean grocery stores.
I ordered mine on Amazon.
You order Amazon, or if you got an H Mart, if you're in North America, and you have an H Mart, you can go there. They have those in Canada, Mexico, and the United States. Like, I like Japanese food. I think it's good, but it's nowhere near Korean food.
No,
I love Japanese food.
I disagree.
No, Japanese food is very bland. Japanese food is the difference between Mexican food and Tex-Mex.
Even Thailand food is.
Have you
one
ever
of
had a
the-
Mexican taco, like an actual Mexican taco? It's kind of
Me,
bland.
no.
Like there's
Me, no.
there's not a lot of seasoning in the meat. Even the tortilla is almost like it lacks some flavor. But because they intend for, I think the reason why they do this, and I could just be making this up. I have no facts to back this up. This is purely speculation, but I think that because they in their culturally tend to have more spicy foods, eat peppers or salsas that are spicy, they tend to expect to get the taste of the food from the sauces. I think Japanese food is very similar. That they don't spend a lot of time in marinating things, whereas with Korean food, right, you have yangnyeoms. It's marinated for a long time, right? Bulgogi, twejjikalbi, almost every meat that I can think of is marinated at least an hour before it's cooked. Am I right, Gogama? Like, other than like, straight up steak.
That's
Like, there's-
yeah.
Yeah, there's always whereas within Japan they don't really marinate stuff, right? And they add maybe a sauce, or they'll have so Korea has the sauces, right? Like in Tex-Mex, you have their seasoning added to the meat before it's put in the taco. There's seasoning in the there's more flavor in the tortilla, right? Because some people don't put salsa on it, but in Korea they have all the same sauces that you have in Japan, plus the stuff is marinated beforehand. Like, Korea's real big on sauces and flavors, and I just don't think, like, for me, you got miso soup, completely bland compared to doenjang-jjigae. Like, it's not even comparable. Like, miso soup is here, and doenjang-jjigae is like here, as far as flavor. Don't you think so, Gogama, or am I just out of my mind?
No, I think I see what you're saying, but I also feel like the palate is different,
Yeah.
근데 일본 맛은 그런 깔끔한 느낌이 있잖아요.
Yeah. Very clean, very simple, very clean, very basic.
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah, I agree. But that's what I'm saying. That's why I like Tex-Mex better than Mexican food. Because Mexican food is very basic, simple, plain, right? Not a lot of extra, very clean type of a palate in Mexico. Like when you actually go to Mexico and you eat in a classic Mexican restaurant. But Tex-Mex, like say in San Antonio, Texas, is different. It's fuller, it's richer, it's
That sounds good.
Yeah. So for me, I prefer Tex-Mex, just like I prefer Korean food over Japanese food, because Korean food is far more musical. That's the only thing I can think about it. That's the only thing I say. It has more of a colorful palette.
What are you writing in the chat, Dietrich?
It says 나는 Mr. Stewart를 좋아하지 않는다. He says I don't like Mr. Stewart. But you say it in a very weird way. Just say will 싫어해.
But do you realize I don't know what I'm doing? I'm just typing on Google Translate. I just know how to count to 1 to 10 Korean. That's it.
That's good. Which one, Chinese or Korean?
No, it's Hana, Do, Set.
That's Korean numbers.
Oh, that's good, Dietrich.
It's Korean.
That's all I know.
See, in Korea, they use both Chinese and Korean numbers. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you have 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. It's confusing on when to use what.
But it's good that he learned that.
I mix them all the time, and it's hard. If you go to a restaurant and you want 3 servings of, say, samgyeopsal, you say 3인분. Right?
Yeah.
You don't say setbun. They'd laugh at you. Like, even if you use the same number, 3, right? Set인분, they'd laugh at you. That's pretty funny.
The only Korean I know is how to just be like in the Korean dramas where the girls are just whining at like guys and they go oppa. They all whiny. or they like whine or like whine at like other girls. Like, Oni.
It's aegyo. That's what they call that. Aegyo.
That's really good, QB. That's good.
You're right. Like they're always like whining. Oppa. They like shake their arm and stuff, and they're like saying in like Korean, like, "Come hang out with me, oppa."
Right, kajima. You need to learn that. Okay, Cube. Kajima.
Cube, you have to learn that.
Right, so you say oppa kajima.
What does kajima mean?
It means don't go.
Don't go.
Yeah.
Oh, oppa kajima.
Kajima, and then you need to learn iriwa. So iriwa means come here, right? So iriwa, oppa iriwa, oppa kajima. 보고 싶다, 보고 싶어. You have to learn that one. Those are like the egg yolk classics right there.
And then I was actually just talking to somebody
and
about
melong. You have to learn melong.
What does melong mean?
Melong's like you're sticking your tongue out like right, but it's melong, right? So if you're gonna do egg yolk, you gotta do 오빠 가지마 싫어 싫어 안 한다, or right, that type of 싫어, not like I hate you, but like I'm not doing it. 싫어
Okay.
안 해. 가지마.
So actually, the Kajima is very familiar to me. I'm like, wait a minute, that sounds really familiar. I'm like, I must have heard that in Korean dramas, like, oppa Kajima.
Yeah. 이리와, melong.
Be like a whiny like K-drama girl. That's the only thing I have heard before.
That's fun.
Or the only Japanese I really know. I once dated a Japanese guy, but the only thing he taught me was like how to pick somebody up in Japanese. That's the only thing I know. I'm like, all I know is like, hey kanajo, ocha shinai. Or like, hey Nichan, ocha shinai, which is like, you're like, hey, big brother, give me, you want to have some tea with me?
I feel so bad for the Japanese guy that I had to pull up with you.
See, Korean guys, there's not a. This is the only thing that I don't really like about Korean culture that much, is there's not, at least there hasn't. I don't know if there is now, but there's not a pickup line culture. And we've got Eugene in his car. You don't have a lot of pickup lines, right? So there's no good pickup lines in Korea. There's just situations, right? But there's not like,
Happy New Year, everyone.
Hi, Eugene.
Are you an angel because you fell out of heaven? Like there's no pickup lines. There's no corny pickup lines in Korean.
Yeah, there isn't.
Well, I don't know if there is in Japanese, but that's not really a corny pickup line, to be like, hey, you want to get some tea? Like that's not really like a pickup line in a corny way either. It depends on, I guess, how you say it. You have to be like, Hey, kanajo ocha shinai. If you say it like that, then it's like kind of like creepy.
I don't know, but there's one really like 제일 쉬운 pickup line은요. 그냥 야타. 부모님.
Yeah.
야타.
Yata.
What does yata mean?
Hey, get in.
Yeah, get in. Yeah. So, yeah.
Get in my car.
There's more of a pause in it between yata. I mean, I guess you could. It depends on where you're from, but it's basically like, hey, get in, right?
That's the one that I know. I've heard that one.
And
So they just use it. They use it in different ways.
Yeah,
like
they
there's
say like
there's
that.
there's flirty ways. So egyo is a form of flirtation, right? So it's two things: girls flirting with you, they're trying to let you know that they're interested, or if you're a friend of theirs and they're just trying to get something from you, like maybe just buy me this or do whatever. It's always egyo, and their head tilts to the side, their eyes get big. Like there's this whole thing of it, right? But yeah. So like for guys too, there's nekumko, chalja, 손만 잡고 잘게. Like there's different things. Like we can sleep together in the same room. I'll only hold your hand, right? Like that's obviously never gonna happen. But I'm getting these from like movies, right? Like,
Yeah, I don't know. The only thing I get from movies or K-dramas is just like girl just whining at a guy.
Just a question to Kills, right? Kills, do you speak any Chinese dialects?
Do I speak any Chinese dialects? I speak Mandarin.
Okay.
Yeah.
No Cantonese.
No Cantonese. I know a little bit of. Okay, my Mandarin is pretty bad, so I mean I can hold a conversation.
I can't speak Mandarin either, so.
Yeah, I can hold a conversation, but it's not like great, So yeah, like if it's like going into like talking about politics or something like that, I don't think I could do that. But if I was like,
I can't do that in Korean sometimes. Like I can, but I'd sound like a 3-year-old doing it, right?
Yeah, but if I was to like go to a restaurant or like go, whatever, I can kind of like I can get by, I can be conversational. At the very least, also my my comprehension is better than my speaking.
My listening is my best as well. My best.
CQ, your Nihan Faran.
My what?
Nihan Faran.
What?
It sounds like you're speaking Arabic, bro.
Yeah, what are you saying?
Nihan.
Ni hao. Okay.
Ni hao means
no. Nihan Faran.
I have no idea what you're
The
saying.
last one is not even close to pronunciation in Chinese.
It means you're annoying, but I don't know how to say annoying at the end.
You know what? That was a fail. That was a real big fail. I think what you're trying to say is like, ni hen fan, right? Like you're very like annoying. Like you have fun. Yeah,
Oh my
yeah. I
gosh,
was like, what are you trying to say? I was like, that's a fail.
Cute. When you speak Chinese, when you speak Mandarin, so cute.
Oh, it's so hard. It's actually hard.
No, my Chinese is like not very good. I also have an accent that's like a little bit American accent. It's like kind of.
Timbudong. I know KTV Chinese. So I know.
KTV Chinese, that's bad. Yeah. Don't go there.
That's all I know.
Well, you know the most important thing is Timbudong. That's like pretty good.
Timbudong. I don't understand, right?
Yeah.
We're playing like drinking games. Look at you, right? Sugasam. There's a dice game in KTV that they play. Yeah, she saw. Right.
You should just know like you should just be like. Booyah.
It's the same
like,
in Korean too.
I don't want.
Yeah.
No, the girls were saying booyah to him.
yeah, that's why he knows it. That's why he knows it.
No.
Booyah.
Booyah, 很打.
CQ.
Male.
Male.
CQ.
Male means don't have.
Yeah. 太小了。
不太小了。
But yeah, I
Now
know. I
he was
know.
like, what did she
KTV.
just say?
I know. I've heard that before.
I bet I definitely I bet you've heard Taishala.
I've heard Taishala before.
What was that about your D? No,
Too big.
No.
Too big. Yeah.
CQ, Wohenni.
what?
Wohenni.
It means too small.
Well,
No, I'm too big.
Well,
Not too
honey.
small.
I think you're trying to
Wohenni.
say well, honey. It's like
Yeah,
I hate
Wohenni.
you. I hate you.
There used to be a Chinese
But don't
song.
say it wrong. Well, I means I love you, no?
Yeah. Well,
Would this should Chun Li? I'm pronouncing that wrong, but there was a Chinese song that was on The Voice China that used to be really popular. I used to sing that in KTV all the time.
well, what? Say that again. What is it
Would
called?
It's an old song.
Would this Chun Li or something like that? I can't remember exactly.
It's a very old song, Will. I can't even remember it, how the wordings go anymore. So I haven't gone to KTV for such a long time.
I don't even watch KTV. I don't know what you're talking about.
KTV
But I
is.
think,
I'm too
it's
American.
karaoke songs, yeah.
KTV is like is Chinese karaoke.
Yeah, I've heard of KTV, but I don't like watch the or like know the I don't sing the
culture.
songs or anything like that.
Well, it's a big book of songs, and you just pick some. But KTV is like where
Karaoke.
you can meet girls.
Yeah, karaoke houses. I know. Karaoke houses. But you know that the Chinese ones are not as bad as like how the Korean ones are, where you're like you go to I don't know. I'm saying here. I'm saying in America, in the US.
Oh, in the US.
Yeah. I'm not talking about of course China's like gonna have like
you haven't been to the Malaysian
I'm talking
one.
about here.
Malaysia's probably the worst of all, to be honest with you.
I'm talking about ones here in the US, like the
When I worked in Asia, I worked for a company they had offices all over Asia, and the Malaysian guys, they love KTV, dude. They couldn't wait. They didn't want to do anything else. Like the meetings were fine. Like they're like all they could talk about was KTV, and when they were at KTV, they were singing, jumping around all over the place. It was a good time.
And we won't go live on that, right? What's actually happening in the KTV?
Over here in the US, they have that thing that Koreans like. They have like a bar or something, and then like the waiters or servers or whatever, you drink and stuff, and then if you're a girl, like they'll take the girl over to the guy's table.
Yeah, booking, but booking.
Yeah, booking. There you go. That's right. Booking.
Yeah, booking is booking's just normal stuff. It's not like prostitution or anything like that.
It's not prostitution, but like they're really aggressive.
They are really aggressive, but that's the culture. That was the way it was. That's how people met people, because like I said, they don't have a pickup culture.
Yeah, I know.
So the way that you met guys back in when me and Goguma were teenagers, that's how they did it. It was booking clubs. I'm sure Goguma went to booking clubs all the time. I did. I know I did.
Goguma's a good joke.
That's fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with booking. That's a normal thing for them.
Yeah.
I mean, they're part of the culture in Korea, right? But in Malaysia, of course, each country has got their own cultures. I mean, during my days, we used to go to clubs and all that. So we used to have clubs and KTVs and all that. So there's a mixture. So a lot of guys would say that why go to clubs and do that? Well, just go to KTV and it's much easier. So I don't know. It is
the
what
only
it is.
time
But guys,
the only time I went
I just
to
want to say Happy New Year to all you guys, right? And all you guys in the chat, right? Let's have a good 2023. And then also always Levy Out, Enoch out, blah, blah, blah. So, all right, guys, I got to go. All right, I'll catch up with you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, buddy.
Bye.
Do they speak Chinese in Malaysia, or do they have their own language? Both, I think, right?
Both.
There's
But
Chinese,
there's just a lot of
we speak Cantonese. We have all the dialects in Malaysia: Cantonese, Mandarin. We got the Teochew, the Hokkien, the Hokkien. Because it's a mixture of the Chinese that came over from China. Yeah. So and we speak Malay, English, right? If you're lucky enough, you learn Tamil, right? And of course, the Arabic is part of it too. So, but guys, big up, take care.
Bye,
later.
Eugene.
Bye.
Later.
Right.
There's a lot of ethnic Chinese everywhere. Everybody got around.
I think there's like Singapore, they speak Chinese as well.
Yeah.
Taiwan obviously speaks Chinese.
Yeah.
Korean, there's a lot of words that are similar and or that sound similar to Chinese. It just depends on what the root is based off of. Like so shiso in both languages is the same, right? To clean up, to clean or wash or stuff like that. Like mi-guk is Korean, megwa is Chinese, right? So it's very similar. Just some of the consonants. Right?
That's
So,
because the Japanese and Korean got their written word Hanyu, from like Chinese and inspired by Chinese, and then,
well, yeah, I mean, and then word roots. So there's what they call Sino-Korean words, which are based off Chinese. That's the Sino part of it, right? So they come from a Chinese root, and then there's completely whole Korean words that don't come from a Chinese root, and then there's English. There's Korean words that come from an English root or a Japanese root. So their language is actually mixed with a lot of things, even some English, right? So like part-time jobs, Arbeit, right, which is it comes from an English word. You got dabong comes from Portuguese, which is dabom. All kinds of weird stuff.
Philly, no. So like, there's a lot of Asian countries like Thailand and Cambodia and Vietnam and etc. They don't necessarily speak Chinese. It's just that there are a lot of ethnic Chinese that kind of went to a lot of these countries, various points of time in history. So there are like communities in them that speak Chinese. Like a lot of people who were fleeing the communist revolution, they went to like Vietnam, and they went to Korea, and then they obviously a huge amount obviously went to Taiwan. That's like the biggest amount went to Taiwan, and so there's a lot of Chinese being spoken in some of these countries because of those ethnic Chinese that like went over there and immigrated there.
I mean, you got Hong Kong, speaks a lot of English, French. It just depends on what country kind of occupied. China occupied a lot of those countries throughout history. So I bet if you would have gone back to Korea in the, pre-Japanese occupation, they probably spoke a lot of, have understood a lot of Chinese. There were a lot of, like my wife's family is originally from China. Her songidom is O, right, which is U in Chinese, or Wu, right, W-U, but it's the same Chinese character. And the Wu family was, way back when, was from royalty, and so a noble person from China came to Korea in the year 900 AD, bought some land, and became a shijo, which is like a because when you bought land in Korea, you had to start a family. So you have different types. You have Kims from this place, and Kims from that place, and E's from that place, and O's from this place, and Pak's from this place. And each family tree has their shijo, which is the first person who bought land or originated that family line in Korea. So Haeju O, she is my wife's family, and they came from China. So a wealthy man from China, landowner, nobleman from China came to Korea, bought some land. His son stayed in Korea, and that's how that family tree existed. They kept really good records of that stuff back then. They still do now. Like a lot of Koreans, which I think is found unique. I haven't met too many Chinese people or Japanese people who know this, but some Koreans will actually know what generation they are from their shijo. So are you a 34th generation or a 36th generation? And you could meet somebody. Your grandfather could be younger than you in Korea. Did you know that? If I'm 12 years old and I'm a generation 34 and you're a generation 36 and you're 28, I'm technically your grandfather. Because I'm closer to the originator than you.
Yeah.
So I'm a higher.
Well, it's just also like Chinese culture and language and everything influenced a lot of other Asian
Yeah.
countries, just because the country
Size.
itself was very powerful for a really long period of time, very wealthy, very military wise, politically very powerful. And so I think they influenced a lot of the Asian countries around them.
Yeah, just like Rome or Greece did in
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Europe. Yeah.
Or yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So
Is
it's just
it
kind of it's like that.
Is it true that most Asian countries they don't like the Japanese?
Yes.
There you
Okay.
go. See,
Fair
Tony
enough.
Go says it. His nephew is 20 years older than him.
Yeah.
You know, people are like, how does that work? It's all about generation from the Shijo, baby.
It's because the Japanese had done some like shit to like a lot of other countries. Like there was like the Sino-Japanese War, where they were at war with China, and the Japanese military, not the people, not the public, but the military had major war atrocities in China. They also did the same thing to Korea when they were taking over Korea. They took like comfort brides and pillaged villages and, cut, men's head offs and, stuck them on a stake outside of the village and raped the women. And it was not actually all that long ago when these things happened. So a lot of people in more recent generations have either, if not memories of it, then they have had the memories carried down from them from stories from very recent generations that have recently passed away or, or about to pass away. And so it's a lot. It's like the history is like a lot more recent.
Sounds good. But we're going to call it a night, folks at home. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back sometime this week. I'm going to be doing some live streams, all kinds of stuff. Just doing reviews for different things. Watches, vacations, trips, stuff like that. Just whatever I can do to deduct my life from my tax return.
You say that and
I
you
never do it.
disappear for 1 month.
I had to go on the vacation. You got to go on the vacation before you can
Pre-vacation.
Dietrich wants those. Dietrich has been hungering for those watch reviews. Remember last time we were talking about that? We were talking about your watches and your sneakers or whatever, and he's like, yeah. He was like, give me that.
Sounds good. I'll do it. Trust
says,
me, it's my New Year's resolution this year to do that more often. So
okay, that's the biggest lie. Yeah. Already
that
you started the year with lies.
That and a 6-pack. So
yeah, that's a lie.
Which one of those two will come first? I don't know, but
none of them.
I do want to do it more because I need to stop. I need to focus on things that I enjoy. So that's one of the things I enjoy is
focus first. I'll stop being arrogant. Be more respectful. That would be a good start.
Stop forcing pictures of yourself upon us to prove how hot you've been and looked over the years.
Imagine talking about how long.
I don't think I'm a 10. Like I think there's a lot of guys out there better looking at me, but I'd say I'm a good 7.5, 8.
He's like, Will's like a 7.5, and I have a big D. So
well, that's just true.
A 10.
That's just true. It depends on what you think is big. But based on if you look at the average of men, I'm about twice that. So.
By the way, Levy absolutely has a small D. That man has micro penis syndrome.
He has a wife and a daughter.
Yeah, and he's also super wealthy, so
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I feel bad for his wife, honestly.
Imagine going shopping with Levy.
Levy's the type of guy that would tell his wife reuse the diapers. What a
Malaysia
prick.
was a Dutch colony once. I do think so. Back in the day, way back when. France, Dutch, all kinds of stuff you were out of there. But guys, stay strong, stay Spurs.
Stay shaky.
See you guys next time. Bye.